All right, and we are live from the CSI Softball Complex. Nicholas Pavona and Joe Foreman joining you for today's East Coast Conference doubleheader as the Dolphins take on the Saints of D'Youville University. Dolphins coming off a thrilling sweep of Molloy this past Tuesday. Both extra inning games, both CSI walk-offs on Tuesday. As Kennedy Roots 2-2 pitch in there for a check strike 3. And that will start this game off one away. And as I mentioned, I'm joined by my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. Joe, you also had a very interesting contest you called on Tuesday. The Dolphins baseball team with a 17-14 win over Stack. And now you get a pair of big doubleheader matchup with a D'Youville team that you and I saw last season, of course, splitting the last doubleheader of the season. Of course, that last game, a win-and-in scenario for both sides. The Saints down 2 runs in the 7th inning. They scored 4 runs to take a 2-run lead going into the bottom of the 7th. Dolphins had a chance to walk it off. Unfortunately, were not able to do so. Saints took the last spot in the ECC playoffs, and as we know, Joe, made an incredible run in the East Coast Conference Championship.
They sure did, and I had the opportunity to call that entire tournament. You joined me for the early going. I followed it through to the end after you returned to Staten Island to see baseball host D'Youville.
2-0 from Kennedy Ruth in there for a strike count, now 2-1. And think of that as well, Joe. You and I got to call the first game with D'Youville when they took on Stack. They lost that game. I believe 3-0 was the final. I'll have to double-check that. But regardless of what the outcome was, they went on to win their next 4 games, 2 straight doubleheaders in back-to-back days. That one chopped over to third. Warner over there makes the play. Those are on to first base for the second out.
And we've seen several different defensive alignments on the infield for the Dolphins so far this year. And here in Game 1, that sees Olivia Warner getting the start over at third base. She played a lot of second base last year, has DH'd a bit this year. But the Dolphins have asked a lot of their players moving around the infield in different positions in the outfield.
Michaela Hussar up with 2 gone in the inning. Takes that first pitch on the outside corner for a ball, 1-0. Kind of a similar defensive alignment we saw, Joe, in Game 2 of the doubleheader on Tuesday against the Lions of Molloy University. The Dolphins going with the same defensive alignment today and really got an incredible defensive performance in the field and was a big reason why they were able to win the game in the fashion that they did. As that one missed high and inside to Hussar. Count now 2-0.
Defensive alignment on the infield for the Dolphins. First to third, Judson, Motley, Lopez, and Warner.
2-0. On the outside, count now 3-0.
Left to right in the outfield, Mendoza in left, Del Masto in center, Morris in right, Madeline Paul behind the plate. And following this next pitch, we'll get you the Saints starting lineup.
The 3-0 count now for Ruth. In there for a strike now, 3-1.
Saints lineup 1 through 9 very quickly. Shannon Howes, Danielle Fenlong, Michaela Hussar, Georgia Sandylands, Annie Jorgensen, Frankie Morris, Summer Clark, Gabby Moreno, Isabella Mancino, and Sophia Arnaud.
Count now 3-1. Pitch from Ruth misses high and outside, ball 4. And it's a 2-out walk issued by Ruth to Hussar. And that will keep the inning going for the Saints.
And we've seen in several of her starts this year opposing teams jump on Kennedy Ruth early. She had a chance for a 1-2-3 first inning. If she had been able to get Hussar, issues the walk. And the Saints will see if they can keep up that trend of early scoring against the Dolphins starter.
They're having some technical issues with the microphone here, but got the announcement in just before this first upcoming pitch to Georgia Sandylands.
I know that's not my microphone having problems.
No, it is not. As that's on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to 0-1.
Well, he mentioned the Dolphins have asked a lot out of their players in terms of positioning in the field, but how about what they've asked of their starting pitchers this year? A lot of innings, and Kennedy Ruth right at the forefront of that.
The 0-1 hit down the left field line. Long run from Mendoza, but she runs out of room, and it goes foul. Count now 0-2, and that's a great point you make, Joe, because in that first game, Kennedy Ruth did get taken out for Emma Powell, and Powell was a big reason as well why the Dolphins won that game. Really came out of the gate and kept the Dolphins within reach to come back and win that one. And then Game 2, Marina Grenier with an incredible performance. Both starting pitchers went the full distance in that game, and Grenier got the better of it in that walk-off fashion in the bottom of the 11th. The 0-2 just misses on the outside, count now 1-2.
Well, we were shocked covering baseball up in Pomona that your games had not finished before we did. I said it on the air, you know. We were joking who'd finish first. We assumed, of course, it would be softball. That was not the case.
It was a marathon type of day for both of us on Tuesday. Count now 1-2 for Ruth. Off-speed pitch hit into right field. But right there in the right place is Morse, and that will retire the side. Saints strand a runner here in the first inning. Dolphins will come to bat for the first time here today in this East Coast Conference doubleheader. We'll be right back. And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex. Dolphins come to bat for the first time here today in the East Coast Conference doubleheader between them and the Saints of DeUville University. Once again, my name is Nicholas Pavona, joined by my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. As the first pitch misses high for a ball count 1-0. Summer Clark, the pitcher here for the Saints today. And Joe, she's a pitcher that you and I got to see a little bit last season, not only here at the softball complex, but you and I got a chance to see her as well in the East Coast Conference Championship Tournament. As we see Lopez take a big swing and a miss for a strike, 1-1 now the count.
And she's a player that can not only get it done in the circle, but is a player that's a capable hitter as well, hitting .259 this year. But in the circle, she's pitched to a sub-2 ERA, stepping up her performance even above what she did last year during that conference championship run.
Yeah, she was part of a two-headed monster, if you want to call it, between her and Sarah Parzic. Really a tough combination for a lot of those teams in the ECC last year to get by. And you mentioned the numbers for Clark this season, ERA under 2. You rarely see that in the softball, diamond, and it's been an incredible start for her. But as you mentioned, too, also a very capable hitter at the plate. But something that you and I wanted to talk about as well were those two matchups that we called last year here at softball. The Dolphins took game one of that doubleheader 2-1 to set up a win-and-in scenario in game two. I touched upon it a little bit as Lopez just made contact with that last pitch to keep it a 2-2 count. But that last game was a thrilling matchup between the Dolphins and the Saints. Came down to the wire, and I mentioned the Dolphins with a chance to walk it off and send themselves to the ECC playoffs, but it just was not enough for them to get the victory in that second matchup. As that 2-2 misses on the outside, 3-2. Lopez, of course, came around to score the game-winning run in Game 2 on Tuesday. Had a long double into left center that almost was a walk-off solo home run. As she, again, just gets a piece of that foul. Count remains full at 3-2. Count remains full, 3-2. Hit down the third baseline, but foul. What's the issue? The data on the...
You're out of data. I asked Sam how much we used. She said 0.6. There was 0.6 remaining. She can't read.
Okay, so do you have to buy more, I'm assuming? Okay. All right, we're back here at the softball diamond as that one hit into center, but it's a long and loud out for Madeline Paul. And now 2 gone there in the first.
Well, Nick, the other day I let our audience know that there was an anonymous benefactor who provided internet to our live stream when you got knocked offline. It appears we have exhausted the anonymous benefactor's data, and I can say that I have made contact and we are re-upped on wireless data. So we're back online.
Knew something was wrong when I didn't hear you for a second.
Yeah, a special shout out to the PDF Sports Network for providing us with internet access.
That is true. You and I, of course, covering a lot of events for the PDF Sports Network, but not to get off topic.
You might know the F in PDF is Foreman. Just saying.
Not flinching.
Not flinching and not anything else.
As Bridger Molly swings and misses. Count now 0-2.
Well, it seems, Nick, that with the restart of our live stream, I'm even closer to live. I'm about a second behind you at most.
All right. That's good. That's great to hear.
I feel like I'm there with you.
That one missed on the outside, 1-2. Oh, if you didn't mention already, you're in Florida today covering these 2 games, and I'm assuming the weather's probably good there today. It's very good weather here on Staten Island. Nice little breeze right now, but can't ask for any better weather here in early April. So now it's 2-2. Molly, of course, with the game-tying hit in the 10th inning. That one's a foul.
Well, Nick, I am starting to have some issues connection-wise here.
Yeah, I heard it. I didn't want to say anything, but I did hear that.
Yeah, we'll have to monitor that.
It's another 2-2 here for Clark. In the turf, 3-2. Steph, I didn't say dirt this time. I said turf. I said that too often, unfortunately, on Tuesday.
Yes, they got you.
They got
Stephanie, when I'm not there, calling out the crew.
Well, she also called me out because a couple of times when we went to extra innings, I kept saying free baseball, and I kept meaning to say softball.
Ooh, that's bad.
Molly gets issued a walk, and it continues for the Dolphins. Olivia Warder now at the plate. He's a big swing and a miss. Might have foul tipped it. Count goes to 0-1. There it is again, Joe. The towel that continues to cause problems for some of the umpires here.
Yes. The accessories getting in the way.
Dolphins using a pink towel here today as that one misses low and outside. 1-1 now the count.
Now, Nick, I have to ask, after we lost data, do you know what network the computer connected back to? Is it my
It did not
hotspot
say.
network? Yeah, you're going to have to check that.
Check that in one moment. It's still under yours.
Okay.
That last pitch was fouled down the first base line. Count now is 1-2. The 1-2 from Clark. That one on the outside corner, foul tipped, but into the glove for strike 3, and that will retire the side. Dolphins strand a runner on base here in the bottom half of the first inning. We head to the top of the second here at the CSI Softball Complex. No score between the Dolphins and the Saints. Annie Jorgensen will lead off here in the top half of the second inning. No score between the Dolphins and the Saints. As the Dolphins looking to potentially, Joe, go up to a 6-0 start in East Coast Conference play. Doubleheader sweep over Queens, doubleheader sweep over Malloy. And now their next doubleheader here today with the Saints of DeUville University.
And Nick, I brought up a stat during our baseball game that might be of interest to softball fans. That pitch did skip low, but the Dolphins had only won 4 straight conference games previously once in program history. It was last year against 3 different teams.
The 1-0 from Ruth on the outside to Jorgensen, count now 2-0.
They won the back end of one doubleheader. I believe that was against Queens. Then I think maybe it was Queens that they swept. I think they took 1 from Mercy, 2 from Queens, and then 1 from DeUville, if I recall.
I should be able to tell you because I do have the schedule up on my laptop.
Yeah, if you have last year's schedule, let me know how good my memory is.
It was 1 game against DeUville, a sweep over Queens, and then
okay.
Malloy on senior day.
Close. I was
Almost.
75% right.
Yeah.
And then, of
3-0
course,
count now here for Ruth.
they did
This is on the
split
inside
with
for ball
DeUville in
4.
the finale.
So it is a walk issued to Jorgensen. A leadoff walk, I should say, to start off the second inning. At the plate now is Frankie Morris. Corner infield's moving in for the Dolphins. They're expecting bunt in this spot. No bunt shown. The count goes to 0-1 as that one's on the outside corner for a strike. So a couple of bunts on Tuesday that the Dolphins especially favored them. Del Masto with a big bunt. Then we saw, of course, a bunt that set up the Dolphins to put it second and third in that 10th inning. And almost give them a chance to walk it off in that 10th inning. The count now goes to 1-1 to Morris. The 1-1. This is high, 2-1. The question is, Joe, can they hear that chime?
You hear it?
Well, I hear it on the laptop.
Oh, okay. They cannot.
Question
The
is,
audience.
can-
Actually, you know what? I don't believe so because it's going into your headset, the audio out.
Okay.
I don't believe
Okay.
that anyone can hear that.
Because we were going through it on Tuesday.
Actually, I know they
also.
can't because I can hear the stream through
Okay,
my
yeah.
laptop. Well, actually, no, I can't. It's muted. I have the audio
Oh.
from your headset, so I don't believe so.
Okay.
The only audio that our audience is getting from your laptop is me,
Okay.
I hope.
Pitch on the inside. Count now full here for Morris, 3-2. Yeah, Tuesday I was trying to relay some messages back to you, but was afraid also to hear the chime from the laptop while doing so.
That won't come through.
Okay. 3-2 now here for Ruth. That one drilled up the middle and past the diving Lopez into center for a base hit. Moving over to second base is Jorgensen. It's Frankie Morris that gets a base hit right there, and the Saints now have first and second. Still nobody out.
Good start to the frame for DeUville. A good at-bat leads to a leadoff walk, and then that ball was absolutely ripped by Morris. And I've said it more than once already, Nick. I think the big concern for Kennedy is not the volume of hits or the volume of base runners. I think it's been the contact that's come against her. We're not used to seeing the ball hit this hard off of Ruth.
And you mentioned before, Summer Clark also not only can do a lot of wonders in the circle, she's now at the plate and can help her own cause here. First and second, nobody out, but that's definitely a cause for concern, Joe, as you mentioned, the hard hit contact that we've seen in a couple of games this season for Ruth. As that breaking ball missed very high, count now 2-0. And Madeline
when you
Paul
look
over
at
the circle for a conference.
When you look at her numbers from last year, Nick, she had 70 strikeouts in just over 86 innings. That's by no means a strikeout pitcher, but that is a strikeout rate that you're okay with. I think you like to be closer to the 1 strikeout per inning, but 70 and 86 is not bad. This year, she's looking at about half a strikeout per inning, and I think that downtick in the strikeout numbers is also a cause for concern. And it leads you to ask the question, why is she getting less swing and misses, and why is she having more trouble putting hitters away?
She's quickly behind the count here, 2-0. And that one missed, or I should say, hits on the outside corner, 2-1. Could be maybe a command issue also, because you've seen a couple of times this year where the command has been a little bit off for Ruth, not maybe what we're accustomed to the last couple of seasons, but still able to get pitches in the strike zone that at some points, yes, will be hard hit contact for the opposing side, but on the other side of things, still able to get outs in the field, which doesn't really help in terms of strikeout numbers, but does help her get out of certain situations and certain type of games.
And I think a big part of what it boils down to, Nick, you're looking at less than a hit per inning last year and an opponent's batting average of 260.
That one hit foul. I think the other thing also, Joe, is you're facing a Deauville team. When you look at the numbers in terms of what they've been doing this season, it's been an impressive start at the plate this season for Deauville. A couple of hitters hitting over 300. That's really something that they have to watch out for. Both Ruth and Grenier here in these two starts. Low in the turf on the outside quarter. Full count now, 3-2. As Ruth is in danger of loading the bases here with a potential walk.
And to just complete that point I was making before, what it boils down to, Nick, about a hit per inning last year, about 1.5 hits per inning this year, and an opponent's batting average of 360.
The 3-2 from Ruth. Again, skips in the dirt. There we go again, Joe. In the turf. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And
bases loaded. Bases loaded. Nobody out for the Saints. And you have the bottom two hitters in the batting order. I think I did it again, Nick. I promised 1 through 9 earlier in the game. I gave 1 through 10, including the flex players. So Gabby Moreno, the number 8 hitter at the plate. Isabella Mancino behind her, and back to the top of the lineup from there.
How about this spot for Moreno? Now, bases loaded, nobody out. Takes that first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Once again, the corner infielders are in for the Dolphins. Play will go towards the plate. One of those corner infielders are able to make the play. The 0-1. This is low for a ball, 1-1.
Well, I think, Nick, against the bottom of the order here, you can't afford to let a run come home on a free pass. You have to take your chance here. A couple of hitters who come in hitting under 250. That's not to say they can't beat you, but better to take your chances with these hitters than the hitters at the top of the lineup.
Count now goes 2-1 as that one again misses low. And you're right, Joe. Really no room for error right here for Ruth. Bases loaded, nobody out. Has to find a way to get out of this jam. Shallow fly ball into right field. And Morris is not able to make the play. That might score 2 runs for the Saints. They'll hold it to just 1. Bases will remain loaded, still nobody out. Will more than likely be an RBI single off the bat of Gabby Moreno. It's a 1-0 lead for Deauville.
Well, if you're Kennedy Ruth and the Dolphins there, you got the kind you wanted off the bat of Moreno. A weak fly ball to shallow right field. It just found an opening. Morris couldn't get there, and Nick, the Dolphins are lucky that didn't turn into 3 runs.
High and inside, but take the big swing and miss right there. At the plate is Isabella Mancino. Count goes to 0-1, but you're right, Joe. That one was a favorable bounce for the Dolphins that were, if it had gone down that right field line, could have cleared the bases for the Saints. But that might do it as that one into the left center field gap, cut off by Del Masto, and the Saints definitely could have potentially brought home a second run. They'll only bring home 1 once again. RBI single for Isabella Mancino, and they now have a 2-0 lead.
Tough to anticipate that bobble if you're coaching third base there, so with nobody out, best not to give away an out at the plate. That being said, Nick, I think you were right. I think there was definitely an opportunity for 1 more run to come home, especially after the bobble.
Bottom half of the order for the Saints, delivering the first 2 runs of this game, and now it's back to the top of the lineup. Shaden Howes at the plate takes that first pitch for a strike, count 0-1. The other thing that's unfortunate as well, Joe, is the bases still remain loaded and still nobody out in the inning. The 0-1 from Ruth. That one hit towards center. Del Masto is there in shallow left center to make the catch. They will not test the throw from her out in left center. And it's a big out, number 1 for CSI.
The right fielder, number 20, Danielle Fenlong.
Just taking a moment, Nick. I'm updating our data once again.
Danielle Fenlong now up with 1 gone in the inning. It's that first pitch high and inside, 1-0 the count. Well, big break for CSI in that last at bat. It was a fly ball hit to left center where it would not test the throw out in left center field. But now can they escape the further damage? Keep this game 2 runs. High and inside once again, count now 2-0. Comes the incoming 2-0. On the outside corner for a strike, 2-1. We've seen a lot of times this season the Dolphins go into that outside corner. Good job by Madeline Paul behind the plate trying to frame that one. Here comes the 2-1. This is low for ball 3. And Ruth now in danger of walking in a run. Count now 3-1.
Like whether or not you get an out here could be the difference between this inning spiraling out of control or not.
It misses on the outside for ball 4. Fenlong will walk and bring home Clark, and it's now a 3-0 lead for Dieuville.
You mentioned, Nick, that against Malloy, Ruth was relieved after 5 innings by Emma Powell. How early do you think they go to Powell here, given how well she pitched in that game? Do you consider that at this point? Is there a pitch count you're looking for or a run total?
Well, looking down the left field line to see if maybe the Dolphins have any action going up in their bullpen. I thought for a second that might be the case. It does look like they are warming up maybe Powell in the bullpen. So it could be a short leash, as you mentioned, Joe. In a spot where you're trying to pick up another conference win, you're down 3 runs already. The bases are still loaded and just still 1 out. If Ruth is not able to get an out here, it might be an interesting conversation the Dolphins have to consider after this next at-bat.
I think it's a really tough call to pull your number 1 starter in the 2nd inning. But if you do you maybe have her for game 2 if needed?
I think that would be the conversation as well. You would have her available for that 2nd game because, as we mentioned, Marina Grenier had to go the full distance in on Tuesday. Had to pitch 11 innings in that game. That one hit towards center. Del Masto is there. She will make the catch. Tagging from third base will be Moreno. She will score. As well as moving over to third is Mancino. Moving over to second base is Fenlong. And it's now a 4-0 lead for the Saints. 2 gone in the inning.
And Nick, to put the walk total into perspective for Kennedy Ruth, she had 36 walks all of last season. She surpassed the 36 walk mark in this game. She entered this game with 36 walks, and she's only thrown 56 innings so far, not counting her inning and 2/3 here today. She's at exactly 58 innings now.
Chopper to short. Lopez there. Throws it on to first base, and a nice scoop over at first by Judson. Will retire the side. Saints do strand 2 runners up in here in the inning, but they do come around to score 4 runs here in the top half of the 2nd. We head to the home 2nd. Saints lead this one 4-0. Abby Morris lead off here in the home 2nd. Saints lead this game 4-0. And the first game of this doubleheader between the Dolphins and Dieuville. First pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. Also worth noting, Joe, this is not the only current game the Dolphins athletics team has currently going on right now. Baseball currently at Dobbs Ferry. They're going into the bottom of the 5th inning. Dolphins lead that game 7-5 in what has been so far not as high scoring as you called on Tuesday, but still nonetheless a very high scoring game through at least 4 innings of that one.
Well, Nick, I mentioned it during the game on Tuesday that every game that I've covered for CSI Baseball outside of the Myrtle Beach games, with the exception of the doubleheader against Caldwell, have seen one team or the other score at least 10 runs. So one of the two teams in double digits every time I've covered the Dolphins outside of the games in Raleigh and the home opening doubleheader against Caldwell.
1-2 on the outside corner, now 2-2. Had me questioning if I was with you at Clover on Tuesday, considering the amount of runs that were scored in that game. Now a 2-2 count here for Clark. Chopped on the inside towards short. Going to be a tough play over at first base, and Morris will reach first base safely with an infield single.
If you're the Dolphins, you'll take a base runner however you can get it, especially now trailing by 4. And if there's anything we learned from that season-ending doubleheader between these two teams last year, it's that you can't count either of them out.
And I think something also to note, too, when you're facing a pitcher like Clark with the numbers she's had this season, the Dolphins need to keep it a low tally in terms of the deficit they came into the 2nd inning. It's a 4-run deficit, but for what we saw Tuesday, Mylene Mendoza with one swing could cut the deficit into half. A solo home run in Game 2 to get the Dolphins the first run of that game. The count now goes to 1-1. That misses on the outside.
Well, Mendoza for the Dolphins so far this year has been an extra base hit machine. 4 doubles and a home run on just 9 hits. And she's hitting .375 now, earning herself some more playing time.
In my opinion, Joe, arguably the Dolphins' hottest hitter right now at the plate. I believe did not record an out in that game on Tuesday, if memory serves me correct. It was 4 for 4 in Game 1. And I believe 2 for 2 with a couple of walks in Game 2. The 1-2 from Clark. A foul behind the plate. Still a 1-2 count here for Clark. That one again chopped down the third base line. Tough play over at third. And Mendoza reaches first base with an infield single. How about this start of the inning for the Dolphins? 2 straight choppers on the left side of the infield have caused some problems for the Saints in the infield. And now Taryn Judson, another capable hitter with one swing, now comes up to the plate with first and second. Still nobody out. Now, Joe, I'm not sure if you're still here at the moment, but I do see the bandwidth triangle has come up again.
And the issue that we're having right now is that the live stream of this game is not properly being displayed on the Flow College website. So our viewers at home can't view this game live. And I'm trying to work on that.
In the meantime, Taryn Judson's quickly behind the count here, 0-2.
I think we have it.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw the triangle pop up on production truck, so just wanted to double check on that.
We're having internet issues.
Okay. That last pitch missed on the outside corner. Count now is 1-2. That one misses high and inside. Judson having to dug out of the way on that one. Count now even at 2. Back-to-back infield singles, 2-2 count. Hit right to first, and the Saints will turn the double play. Frankie Morris right there makes the catch, steps on the bag, and just like that, there's now 2 gone.
Tough break for the Dolphins there, but not much you can do in a situation like that.
able to get back-to-back infield singles,
I'd
but
love to
just
offer
like
you
that.
Nick, but
Presley Bourne swings and misses on that first pitch for a strike. Count goes to 0-1.
and Nick have all but lost the feed, and I think that issue is translating into the broadcast right now.
Trying to shake my head and nod, but was a little bit of a choppiness I heard from you on the other end, unfortunately.
He's not, because the live feed on Flow College is also very laggy.
Okay. 0-2 here to Bourne. Chop towards third. They're over to third base in time. Now we'll retire the side here in the home second. Dolphins start the inning with 2 singles here in the bottom half of the second, but they strand the runner over at second base. Into the top of the third. It's a 4-0 lead for the Saints.
Your internet feed just isn't good. It's not strong enough to keep you streaming. It's super laggy. We got to get you in the press box. And you have one transmitter. So game 2, we're going to go one camera wide shot. You're going to have to go up in the press box. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with this the whole time.
We're back here for the top half of the third inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. It is still a 4-0 lead for the Saints of DeUville University. Okay, his first pitch is on the inside for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. Now, I was joined with Joe Foreman a few moments ago. Still having some connectivity issues, so for now, Joe is going to leave the call. He's going to monitor our connection in the meantime on Flow, and he'll relay that message as this game progresses. That one drilled up the middle. And that one gets in for a base hit. It's a leadoff single for Annie Jorgensen to kick things going here in the top half of the third.
The first baseman, number 12, Frankie Morris.
Frankie Morris back at the plate. Morris making a nice double play in that last half inning. Fourth of the game now for DeUville. Morris trying to make it number 5, but hits that one foul down the left field line. The 0-1 on the outside, 1-1. One misses on the inside. Now 2-1. That one drilled past the diving Mobley into right center for another base hit. Morris once again on, and it's again first and second. Nobody out here in the third.
The pitcher, number 32, Summer Clark.
So now bring up Summer Clark. Clark walked her first time around. First pitch swinging, hits that one to left. Battling the sun out in left field and making the catch is Mendoza, and there's one gone in the inning.
The catcher, number 33, Gabby Moreno.
Gabby Moreno now comes up with one gone. RBI single her last time up, back in the second. That coming with the bases loaded. That's first and second, just one out here in the third. First pitch on the inside for a strike. Count goes to 0-1. Oh, 1 from Ruth. Drilled foul down the first base line. Count now 0-2. It's not wrong, Steph. Count 0-2. Skips in the turf for a ball, 1-2. Made sure to get that one right this time. Still 7-5 Dolphins. They're in the top of the sixth inning, I should say, out in baseball in Dobbs Ferry. The 1-2 down the third base line, and having a skip out of the way, more than likely, I would assume, is the head coach, Shelly Horner, in her second season here with the Saints. Of course, her first year, a very memorable one with the Saints winning the ECC championship. Trying to go back-to-back this season. The team off to a good start here in their second doubleheader, or I should say third doubleheader of the year. The 1-2. Again, Trill Moreno almost hitting the lighting down the left field line. Don't want that to happen. Count out 1-2 still. Still a 1-2 count here for Ruth. And Moreno again hits this one into left field, but it's caught out in left center by Mendoza. And she makes the put out for the second out of the inning.
The left fielder, number 5, Isabella Mancino.
Isabella Mancino now comes up with 2 gone. RBI single her last time up. After allowing the first 2 base runners to get on, Ruth now an out away from avoiding the situation here. First pitch to Mancino. This is high for a ball, 1-0 the count. The 1-0. That one hit foul. Count 1-1. The 1-1. On the outside now, 2-1. Mancino did reach, as I mentioned, with an RBI single, but this is the out Ruth really would want. At the top of the lineup up on deck, especially with 2 outs in the inning. So the out that Ruth definitely has to get at this point. 2-1. Out into left once again, and once again, Mendoza is there. As she bows the sun once again and retires aside here in the top half of the third. Saints strand 2 runners here in the top half of the third, and we head to the home third. Saints lead this one 4-0. Julia Del Masto lead off here in the home third inning for the Dolphins as they trail this game 4-0. First game of today's East Coast Conference doubleheader. It'll be 9-1-2 up in the inning for CSI. As Del Masto hits that one foul. Count goes to 0-1. It'll be Del Masto, Lopez, and Paul. Del Masto having a very impressive performance on Tuesday. Had some incredible defensive catches. I mentioned had a bunt single that was responsible for helping the Dolphins get one of those big runs in Game 2 as hits that one towards second, but right there to make the play over at second base is second baseman Sandy Land for the first out.
The shortstop, number 12, Gianna Lopez.
Back to the top of the Dolphin lineup, it's Gianna Lopez. One gone here in the inning. I mentioned it earlier, we talked about the numbers for Summer Clark this season, but a really tough pitcher to hit against. Now facing a 4-run deficit. Dolphins trying to find a way to chip back into this game. Had a chance that last inning. They're getting 2 straight infield singles. It's a count now of 2-0 here for Clark against Lopez. And Lopez with a blooper out to center, and it drops. And they will have no play over at second base. It's another base hit for the Dolphins. Their third of this game. As Gianna Lopez is on with one away.
The catcher, number 10, Madeline Paul.
Brings up the hero of Game 1 on Tuesday, Madeline Paul, as we get a second look at the last base hit off the bat of Gianna Lopez. Dolphins open the top half of their lineup. Get them back in the game as the count goes to 0-1. Oh, 1 from Clark. That one chopped at the plate foul. It's now 0-2. Paul quickly behind the count here, 0-2. On the outside now, 1-2. Count now 1-2 here for the Dolphin catcher. Half-hearted swing, did she go? And indeed she did. It's a punch out there for Clark on the check swing, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
The second baseman, number 22, Bridget Motley.
So bring up Bridget Molly now with 2 gone. Dolphins still having Lopez over at first base. She takes that first pitch for a ball, 1-0 the count. A 1-0 count here for Clark. And on the inside for a strike, 1-1. The 1-1 on the outside for a strike now, 1-2. Hear the pop of the glove. Really tough to hit that fastball from Clark. Looking for another punch out right here. Has a 1-2 count. 1-2 to Motley. Hit foul down the right field line. Count remains 1-2. Clark looking for her third punch out of this game. Molly hits that one into right. Long run in right field. It is a foul ball down the right field line. Molly near inches away from an RBI double. Still in a count of 1-2. In on the inside now, 2-2. Molly hits that one out into left center. And the catch will be made out in left center field for the final out of the third inning. Dolphins trying to run it here in the bottom of the third. We head to the top of the fourth. More than likely have to take a quick pause here on the stream to try to get our connection going. When we come back, it's a 4-0 lead for Deauville as we get to the top of the fourth. And we're back here from the CSI Softball Complex. I just realized I was muted the whole time, Steph. It's been one of those days. 2-1 is hit into left center. It is Mendoza or maybe Del Masto that will make the play, and that will retire the side. Quickly to recap that last half inning, you probably saw it on your screens, but to recap it quickly, Shane House grounded out to the circle towards Kennedy Ruth. Danielle Fenlong struck out looking. Michaela Hussard with a single into right field, and then you just saw that last out. Georgia Sandilands flying out into left center field. We head to the bottom half of the fourth inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. It's still a 4-0 lead for the Saints. Olivia Warner lead off here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Her team trails this game 4-0. Dolphins with just 3 hits so far up to this point in this game. As Warner takes that first pitch for a ball, 1-0 the count. Warner on the day 0 for 1 with the punch out. As the count now even at 1-1. The long look in from Clark, the 1-1. Dribble down the third. Over there is the third baseman, and it's a strong throw to first in time. And there's one gone here in the fourth. That was Jorgensen over at third. One gone brings up Abby Morris.
Number 20, Abby Morris.
Morris has one of the 3 Dolphins hits in this game. Infield single towards the circle and short. Stranded over on second base back in that second inning. An early count here of 1-0. The 1-0. Hit up the middle and past the diving shortstop into center field for another base hit. Abby Morris now 2 for 2 on the day. And the Dolphins have a runner on first with 1 out here in the home fourth.
The left fielder, number 7, Mylene Mendoza.
4 hits now for CSI in this game, 2 of them off the bat of Abby Morris. She just gets it past the shortstop, Arnaud, in the center. Mylene Mendoza now at the plate. She's also responsible for one of the Dolphins' 4 hits in this game. Takes that first pitch for a strike, 0-1. She had to dribble it down the third baseline that she reached first base safely. The 0-1. And another dribbler, this time to short. And there will be no play at second, or maybe there is. They call the out at second base. I'd have to get a look at that, but I did not think they had a play over at short.
The first baseman, number 35.
Oh, that is,
Thompson.
wow, that's bad. That is a really, really bad call. I know I'm supposed to be biased, but man, that was not even close. We'll get a look at it in a second. That one ripped towards first. The rule that it is a catch over at first base by Morris. That will retire the side. The Dolphins trying to runner here in the 4th inning, but we'll stay right here as we go to the top half of the 5th inning. It's still a 4-0 lead for the Saints, but I'll need to get a look again at that play over at second base. Let's get a look. I don't know. They might have had the right call. It looks like the foot did not reach before the catch was made. And you know what? Getting a second look at it, that's the right call.
Wait, what?
It looks like that was the right call on the play. I thought initially that the throw was well late. But after getting a second look at it, it looks like the foot was still up in the air as the catch was made over at second base. So I do apologize to the official. That's why I'm here at the commentator's desk and not in the infield. Really, really close play over at second base, but a tough break for the Dolphins right there,
Third baseman, number 20.
as they now go down, still down 4-0. I am now currently hearing it from Joe Foreman after that play. In fairness, looked very, very close. Thought initially there was no chance the Dolphins caught the out, but that was the right call. Had a great look of it on our pitcher-batter camera over at second base. Tough break again for the Dolphins. Foot being up in the air just too long. Cost them an out on that play. As Kennedy Ruth, meanwhile, here in the top half of the fifth inning, is quickly up in the count 0-2. This is for a ball now, 1-2. The 1-2 on the outside, 2-2. If foul, I won't have a play on it. Ben Madden, Paul will. One go on the inning. That one not high enough to go behind the, or go over the net, I guess I should say, here in the backstop.
Number 12, Frankie Morris.
Bring up Frankie Morris now with one gone. A nice day at the plate so far for Morris. 2 for 2. Scored in a run. She's down the count 0-1. The 0-1 on the outside, 1-1. The 1-1. That one fouling off right in the leg of Morris. And you can see a little bit of discomfort right there on that one. Trying to walk it off down the first base line as the count now is 1-2. It's a 1-2 count out after that last foul ball. The 1-2. And that one plunks Morris, and that one is frustrating. Fouling off the last pitch off of her leg, and that one went high and inside. You saw her throw the bat in frustration. Might have hit her hand on that one. You're going to take a look over at first base as Summer Clark is the next batter at the plate. That one ran just too high and inside on that one. And it plunked her on the back. Yeah, from previous experience playing baseball, those are never easy to take. Especially after fouling off the last pitch off your leg, then having that one hit you in the back. Definitely not a comforting sequence there on those last two pitches. As they still tend to Morris down the first base line. And she is going to remain in the game. That's a good side to see Morris staying in. As I mentioned before, the pitcher Summer Clark now at the plate. Clark so far today 0 for 1. Has walked in, scored a run as well. Is pitching right now a 4-inning shutout and has allowed just 4 hits. Takes that first pitch on the outside for a ball, 1-0 the count. Kennedy Root's pitch count as well after this next pitch. That one hit foul and out of play, 1-1. Root's about to hit 100 pitches in this game. The 1-1. Low and outside now, 2-1. Well, they have made Ruth work in this game. 6 hits allowed. The Dolphins pitchers also allowed 4 walks. Mentioned it earlier. Was taken out in game 1 of the doubleheader on Tuesday for Emma Powell. And she's now fallen in the count here, 3-1. In danger of walking her 5th batter of this game. The 3-1. Misses for ball 4. Clark walks for the 2nd time here today. It's now 1st and 2nd, still 1 out of the inning. Dolphins dugout thought that was a strike on that last pitch, but it was not indeed the case. Ruth now at 103 pitches coming up into this next at-bat. That's Gabby Moreno back at the plate. Moreno today 1 for 2. Drove in the game's first run back in that 2nd inning. Takes that first pitch on the inside for a ball, 1-0 the count. The 1-0. Again, misses on the inside, 2-0. For what we're seeing from Kennedy Ruth of the season, she's at 103. We've seen her go higher in terms of pitch counts over the last couple of seasons, but this game, unfortunately, right now, could potentially start to slip away from CSI, but there's a ground ball towards short, and a heads-up play by Lopez. She throws to third base. They get the lead runner out at third as they get the 6-5 put out over at third base for the 2nd out of the inning. It'll be up to Isabella Mancino to try to extend this inning for the Saints. We're trying to keep this game within reach for CSI. Mancino had an RBI single back in that 2nd inning as well. Hits that one into shallow left field. But once again, battling the sun is Mendoza. She will make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the top half for the 5th inning. Saints strand 2 runners here in the top half of the 5th. We head to the home 5th inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. It's a 4-0 lead for D'Youville. Bottom half of the fifth inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. It is still a 4-0 lead for Duville. Dolphins now down to their final 9 outs here in this first game. This doubleheader between them and Duville. First pitch swinging, and it's a foul ball down the left field line for Presley Bourne, who was inches away from an extra base hit. It'll be 8-9-1 up at the inning for the Dolphins. Bourne, Del Masto, and Lopez. That one just missing. A potential extra base hit for the Dolphins. She again slaps that one foul down the left field line, now 0-2. The 0-2. It's a half swing again, but it's in there for strike 3. Bourne down swinging for the first out of the fifth. Another punch out here for Summer Clark today. Clark has been dealing so far in this matchup. That's now her third punch out. Brings up Julia Del Masto now with one gone. Shows bunt, and that one just rolls foul. Almost looked eerily similar to the one she had on Tuesday. That one just did not work in her favor, unfortunately, as it went just foul into the other batter's box. It's 0-1 count here for the Dolphins center fielder. She just makes contact with that last pitch foul. Count now 0-2. From Dobbs Ferry after this next upcoming pitch. Count is still 0-2. That one just misses on the outside corner, 1-2. They're heading to the bottom of the 7th at Dobbs Ferry. Dolphins still lead that game 7-5. CSI Baseball losing a doubleheader yesterday against the Mavericks, trying to salvage that series, and another doubleheader here today. As Del Masto hits it right at Morris over at first base, and there's now 2 gone. Another ECC doubleheader for CSI Baseball. Game 3 of that 4-game series right now. Game 4 scheduled originally for 1:30, but there is no chance they're going to get that 1:30 start in on that one. More than likely will be, depending how that game goes, maybe a 2 p.m. start. But for those looking to see CSI Baseball, definitely stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, here at Softball, Dolphins quickly with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. It's back to the top of the lineup for CSI. Gianna Lopez 1 for 2 on the day. Dribbles it down the third base line, but it's foul. Count now even at 1-1. Lopez with a little bit of a bloop single out into right center field. Her last time up. 1-1. Skips to the turf now, 2-1. You gotta think, when will they change that chant? They still say dirt. Technically, I still say dirt sometimes, though. Can't really fault them. As the count now goes to 3-1. Well, if for some reason we do have extra softball here today, Steph, I'll make sure to say extra softball this time around. Unfortunately, a couple times on Tuesday, I kept saying extra baseball. Wrong sport. 3-1. Hit into right. Out in right field, making the catch. Out in right is Fenlong, and that will retire the side. As the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 here in the home 5th, we head to the top of the 6th inning at the CSI Softball Complex. Saints lead this one 4-0. Shannon Howes will lead off here in the top half of the 6th inning. Her team still leads this game 4-0. Infield creeping in for the Dolphins here on this upcoming first pitch. So this is on the outside for a ball, 1-0 the count. The 1-0. That one drilled into center, but how about that play by Del Masso? Read that one perfectly. Good heads-up play on the scouting report. Gets the first out of the inning here in the 6th.
The right fielder, number 20, Danielle Fenlong.
Sometimes it pays off to read that scouting report because it played normal defensively. That could have been an extra base hit. Instead, the Dolphins record the first out of the inning. That one drilled right at Lopez over at short. A great defensive play, and the Dolphins record the second out of the inning.
The designated player, number 8, Michaela Hussar.
That's a tough break right there for the Saints. They thought they had another extra base hit, and Lopez had other ideas on that one. Great extension to get the second out of the inning. Michaela Hussar up and just gets it past Warner's glove over at third base and into left field for a base hit. Dolphins were mere inches away from another great defensive play. Instead, it's the 7th hit of this game for the Saints. Hussar reaches first with 2 gone. She's now 2 for 2. Now Georgia Sandy Lance will come up. She's 0 for 3 on the day. And she goes first pitch swinging. It is a fair ball. Warner throws it on to first base in time, and that will retire the side. So after recording that first out, it's a quick inning for Kennedy Ruth. Her team still trails this game 4-0. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Dolphins down to their final 6 outs. As Saints lead this one 4-0. Bottom of the 6th, Madeline Paul will lead it off here for the Dolphins. They're down to their final 6 outs. They trail this game still 4-0. She takes that first pitch for a ball, 1-0 the count. Meanwhile, out in Dobbs Ferry, Mercy has taken the lead. They have regained it after a RBI double. They now lead this game 8-7. It was a 2 RBI double, and the 3rd run scored on an error. But allowed Mercy to take the lead. They have not led since that 2nd inning. And being noted that that's a 2-7 inning game, so that should be a walk-off win for the Mavericks. That is indeed the case. That is a tough break for the Dolphins in that first game. 2-1. It foul now 2-2. Dolphins now with that loss now will try to avoid the sweep in that 4-game series with the Mavericks in Game 2. That game more than likely will be starting at 2 p.m. The 2-2 count here for Summer Clark against Madeline Paul. And she gets her swinging on that low pitch for a strike, and there's one away in the inning.
The second baseman, number 22, Bridget Buckley.
That's now 4 punch-outs today for Clark. Clark coming into today had been, I shouldn't say just, but looking at her walk to strikeout ratio, it's been an incredible year for her. And could be well on her way to winning a lot of awards in the ECC this year. She came into this game with 69 strikeouts and just 6 walks allowed on the season. That is unearthly numbers that Clark has been pitching this season. She's up in the count here, 0-1. Chop back towards the circle, hit over to second. Throw on to second base, on to first is in time. And there's now 2 gone here in the inning. And I think that's the other thing that's happened in this game for the Dolphins. Clark has been just so dominant in the circle. The Dolphins really haven't had much good contact in this game. They have 4 hits in this one. And only one of those 4 hits have left the infield. 3 of them have been infield singles. The lone Dolphin hit that's gone into the outfield was off the bat of Abby Morris, her second time around. Incredible performance once again from Clark. She's now 4 outs away from a CGSO. The 1-0 in the turf, 2-0. Dolphins knew coming into this first game that they would be facing a really tough test. To her credit, Kennedy Ruth has kept this game within reach. But the Dolphins really have just not been able to muster anything up on the offensive side. As that one's hit foul down the right field line, now 2-1. Clark came in today 9-4 at 1.89 ERA, 5 complete games, 1 shutout. And is 4 outs away from a second shutout on the season. 2-1 count here for Warner. It's a dribbler towards short. They're on to first base. Just in time to get the diving Warner over at first, and that will retire the side. Dolphins go down 1-2-3 here in the home 6th. We had the top half of the 7th. Saints look for some insurance as they lead this game 4-0. Annie Jorgensen leads it off here at the top of the 7th. Saints lead still 4-0. And she hits that one to the diving Warner over at third. Throw to first base in time. Web gem type of performance right there by Warner over at third. Makes the diving stop. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 7th.
The first baseman, number 12, Frankie Morris.
Incredible defensive play. Get things going here in the 7th. Diving stop from a knee and a great strong throw over to first base in time. So that first pitch skip to the backstop, count 1-0. Frankie Morris at the plate for the Saints here. Count now 1-1 here for Morris. Takes that one on the outside, 1-2. Well, if the Dolphins are able to keep this a 4-run deficit heading into the bottom of the 7th, 5, 6, and 7 up in that inning. It'll be Morris, Mendoza, and Judson. 2-2 count here to Morris. The 2-2 hit fouled out of play. And think about this as well for Summer Clark going into that 7th inning. She has just thrown 89 pitches in this game. She has made quick work of a couple Dolphin hitters in this matchup. Joe and I spoke about it earlier. It's a big part of last year's ECC championship as Morris grounds that one to short. Molly makes the play, or second base, I should say. Molly does make the play for the second out. But Clark was a huge reason why the Saints went on to win the ECC championship last season. She pitched in one of those 2 games against Stack in the championship matchup. Allowed just 1 run in a 5-1 victory. Sarah Parasich pitched the second game. It was a really dominating performance from the Deauville pitchers in last year's championship. And Clark has somehow undone her numbers here this season. She's at the plate here, count 0-1. Count now 1-1. We're trying to find that final out, keep the Dolphins in this game. As that one misses low for a ball, now 2-1. Ruth right now officially at 122 pitches in this game. This will be number 123 and a 2-1. And it's drilled over the leaping Judson into right field for a base hit. So Summer Clark extends the inning for the Saints, trying to help her own cause with a 2-out base hit. As that will bring up Gabby Moreno at the plate. It looks like they'll pinch run for Clark over at first base. It's going to be number 11, Taylor Stronzinski.
Pitch running for the Saints, number 11, Taylor Stronzinski.
So Stronzinski over now at first base. Pitch runs for Clark.
The catcher, number 33, Gabby Moreno.
Stronzinski, a very capable runner for this Saints team. She's 3 for 4 this season. And stolen base attempts. Moreno at the plate with 2 gone still, and runner on. And a half-hearted swing goes into the Saint dugout, I thought for a second, but it went over the dugout and thankfully did not hit one of the bystanders here at the softball complex who was walking a dog. Did not hit the dog either. That's also true. Very good insight here. Joe Calabrese doing PA here today. He was working a lot on Tuesday. PA, scoreboard, music. He did it all on Tuesday at Clover Stadium. It's a 1-1 count here for Moreno. That one in there for a strike, now 1-2. So Ruth now a strike away from getting out of the inning. This next upcoming pitch will be pitch number 127 of this game. The 1-2. This is low for a ball, now 2-2. Well, there's one thing Ruth does not want to do in this spot after getting the first 2 outs is to keep the inning going and give the Saints an opportunity to bring home another run. Here comes a 2-2. That one hit foul down the first base line. Remains 2-2. Game 2 of this doubleheader scheduled for 2 p.m. Tend to think that probably would be a little bit of a delay in the start time for this one. We'll see. All depends on what happens at the bottom half of the inning as well. Still a 2-2 count here from Moreno. Misses high and inside, ball 3. So Stronzinski over at first base, going to get a head start here on a full count. Ruth now, after having been up in the count, is now in danger of walking the number 8 hitter. Keeping this inning going for the Saints. 3-2. That one a mile high in the infield, or a little bit into the outfield. This is Del Masso making the catch. That will retire the side. Saints unable to bring home any insurance here at the top half of the 7th. Dolphins down to their final 3 outs as they head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. They trail this game 4-0. Dolphins down to their final 3 outs here in Game 1 of this East Coast Conference doubleheader. It'll be Abby Morris getting things going for the Dolphins here in the home 7th. She's had the most success today against Summer Clark, who's back in the circle looking for the complete game. Morris 2 for 2 on the day, responsible for 2 of the Dolphins' 4 hits. First pitch in there for a strike 0-1. I mentioned earlier, the Dolphins only having 1 hit reach the outfield in this game. And that was Morris' 2nd hit of this ball game. The other 3 have been infield singles. Hits that one to get up the middle, off the glove of the shortstop, and the Dolphins will get another infield single as it's a leadoff single for Morris. She's now 3 for 3 on the day.
The left fielder, number 7, Mylene Mendoza.
We saw a lot of heroics on Tuesday in both matchups with the Lions. The Dolphins will need another heroic effort here today. Down 4 runs in this inning. A good start to getting that leadoff single. Mylene Mendoza now comes up to the plate. She has one of the Dolphins' 5 hits. That coming back in the 2nd inning. She shows bunt towards the circle. Tough play for Clark over to first base. And having to take her foot off the base was Sandy Lands as Mendoza reaches first.
The first baseman, number 35, Taryn Judson.
That's going to go down as another base hit for the Dolphins. Another close play over at first. And once again, the Dolphins going small ball. Mendoza have been hitting red hot, shows the bunt. She's over at first. As that one's hit towards second. This could be 2. On to second for 1. On to first base. 4-6-3 double play. And just like that, the Dolphins are down to their final out. A rally killer right there for the Dolphins. Judson goes first pitch swinging. And unfortunately hit that one right to second. And a great double play turn by the Saints. Dolphins now down to their final out. It's Presley Bourne at the plate. As she fouls that one off, count 0-1. Clark, meanwhile, came into this inning with 89 pitches. She has only thrown 5 pitches in the inning. And is now 1 out away from the CGSO. Bourne trying to get the Dolphins their first run of this game. But she's now down the count 0-2. Dolphins now down to their final strike. Ramirez inches away earlier in this game from an extra base hit. The 0-2. Half swing on the outside. In there, strike three. And that will do it here in game one of today's doubleheader. The Saints get a strong pitching performance from Summer Clark. She gets the complete game shutout as the Saints win this one 4-0. Clark needing just 96 pitches to get the victory in this first game of the doubleheader. It's her second shutout of the season, and for the Saints, it's their second conference win of the season. They now go to 2-3. The Dolphins fall for the first time in ECC play. They now drop to 4-1 on the day, or on the season in conference play. We'll look at the box score real quickly before we wrap up game one for the Saints. 4 runs on 8 hits, no errors. All 4 runs coming back in that second inning. For the Dolphins, no runs on 6 hits, no errors in this game. Outside of the one bad inning for Kennedy Ruth, it was a strong pitch performance from her, but unfortunately was outdueled by Clark in the first game of this doubleheader. And as I mentioned, second game of this East Coast Conference doubleheader will approximately start at around 2:15. So what we'll do for now is we'll take a break here on CSI Sportsnet. Next time you'll hear my voice is just before first pitch of game number 2 between the Dolphins and the Saints in this East Coast Conference doubleheader. Once again, the final score, Saints 4, Dolphins 0. We'll see you back here at around 2:15 for game number 2 right here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Game number 2 getting underway here between the Dolphins and the Saints. It's a quick 0-2 count for Marina Grenier as that one's on the outside corner for a ball. 1-2 now the count. Kayla Hussar at the plate for the Saints. Nicholas Pavona rejoined by Joe Foreman for game number 2 of this East Coast Conference doubleheader. Saints took game 1 by the final of 4-0, Joe, on what was a remarkable pitching performance from Summer Clark, going the complete distance at a CGSO for a Saints 4-0 victory. As they look to get
and
the
it sure was impressive, the effort for Clark in that game, Nick. And fortunately, it appears we have solved our internet issues, our streaming issues, and we have me back on the live stream, hopefully to stay, as the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Hopefully that is indeed the case. Now, I will say we're still having, looks like right now, Joe, some issues with our camera in terms of the wide shot. It's a little bit choppy. I'm still going to try to play around with it in the meantime, but there's a line drive to short for the first out of the inning here to start things in the top half of the first. And now batting is Danielle Fenlong.
All right, Nick, I might need you to sit a little bit closer to the second laptop if you can, only because PA is so loud.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I'm going to see also what the issue is with our wide shot camera because it is really bad right now. We lost the signal.
Somebody upstairs is using a device that's interfering with the signal. That's the problem. We just don't know what device that is.
Okay. Yeah, it continues to go in and out at the current moment, unfortunately. That's very odd. As the count now goes 3-0. Yeah, I'm thinking, Joe, worst case scenario, we stay here on this camera for the moment in the first inning.
Wait until in between innings, and then we'll try and figure it out.
Yeah, because right now it just is not cooperating at the moment. Technology continues to be a huge issue, unfortunately, these last couple of games, as it was a 4-pitch walk issued to Fenlong, and now at the play is Annie Jorgensen.
What I would say, Nick, if switching to Channel 7 didn't fix it, I would try and go to Channel 9 or Channel 1.
Pat do that as well and help me on that one in between these next half innings. Pat, of course, on pitch clock with us here today, so he cannot help me at the current moment. The 1-0 to Jorgensen. In there for a strike, 1-1. You see that, Joe? Very delayed strike call there. I'm going to have to hold my breath on a couple of the pitches behind the plate.
Well, you know what happens when you assume, Nick.
Oh, I did that in game 1, so I'm not going to do that
I've done it many
again.
times this year.
Count 1-2. Yeah, I assumed that play over at second base was a clear as day safe call for the Dolphins, but looking at further at the replay, that was the right decision made by the umpires. Dolphins were out on that play over at second base on the 6-4, I believe it was, put out in game 1. Meanwhile, the count now here for Jorgensen is even at 2-2.
And Nick, speaking of game 1, you mentioned the performance for Summer Clark, but when I left the broadcast, Kennedy Ruth was laboring.
There's a strikeout right there for Grenier. She's now 6 away, Joe, by the way, from 100 strikeouts as she gets the punch out for the second out of the inning. But go back to your point as well from Kennedy Ruth's performance in game 1.
She was very much laboring when I had to leave the broadcast for technical troubleshooting, but she finished strong, allowed just the 4 runs that were on the board before I left, did walk 5, struck out a couple, but she went the distance and gave the Dolphins very valuable innings. Despite the fact that they didn't win the game, it was a strong, gutsy outing for her.
Yeah, outside of that second inning, which of course was unfortunate for the Dolphins, the sealing factor in that game, Ruth was able to get out of a couple of situations the remainder of that one. It kept the Dolphins in that matchup. The problem for the Dolphins in that game is they weren't really able to get a lot of hits in terms of getting the ball to the outfield. I mentioned it a couple of times. The Dolphins had 6 hits in that game, and I believe 5 of those 6 hits were all infield singles. So that one's fouled by Frankie Morris down the left field line, remains 1-2.
So, Nick, I would put myself right now at about a
I kind of heard that.
a second and a
Just a
half or 2 seconds. I can hear the lag in my headset.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, just a little bit of an audio cutout right there. Just the count now is even at 2-2.
Am I back now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Yeah, I can hear the same skips you can. So if I hear
Okay.
that, I'll make the point again.
Okay. 2-2. In there for a called strike 3. As Grenier strands the runner over at first base, and that will retire the side. We'll go to a quick break here on CSI Sportsnet, try to address the camera issues as we head to the bottom of the first. Dolphins come to bat for the first time today.
Yeah, somebody is on those channels.
Bottom half of the first inning, Dolphins come to bat for the first time here in game number 2 in this East Coast Conference doubleheader. And Joe, we went to break. I think we have our camera issues fixed here for the second game of this doubleheader. Bottom of the first inning, Dolphins come to bat for the first time today. It's Gianna Lopez leading it off for CSI. Takes that first pitch low for a ball, 1-0 the count. Kendall Lennon, the opposing pitcher here today for the Saints.
We'll get you the full lineups as well in just a bit. Lopez, you mentioned, leading off for the Dolphins, went 1 for 3 in game 1.
The 1-0. This is low once again, 2-0.
Very quickly for the Saints, 1 through 9. Hassar, Fenlong, Jorgensen, Morris, Sandy Lands, Moreno, Mancino, Howes, and Arno.
Two-0. Chopped over to third, throw on to first base is in time, and there is one gone here in the home first.
1 through 9 for the Dolphins. Lopez, who just came to the plate, followed by Paul, Warner, Motley, Morris, Mendoza, Smith, Joseph, and Cohen.
Designated player number 10, Madeline Paul.
Madeline Paul batting here, one gone here in the first, as you mentioned. Again, the start as a designated player here in game number 2. We see that very often. Starts game 1 for Kennedy Ruth behind the plate. Starts game 2 as a designated player. And Rose Joseph gets the start behind the plate for the Dolphins here today as the count goes to 1-0. Meanwhile, Joe's an updated Dobbs Ferry 2-0 lead for Mercy in the bottom half of the first inning in the final game of that 4-game set. It's a swing and a miss, the count 1-1.
Well, you mentioned, Nick, 6 hits for the Dolphins in Game 1. Those hits divided by just 3 players, one belonging to Lopez, who made the first out here in this half inning. Abby Morris with 3, and Mylene Mendoza with 2 more.
So now even count here of 1-1. Now make it 1-2 as that one's in there for a called strike. Paul now behind the count here, 1-2. 1-2 from Lennon. That one hit a mile high down and out of play. The count remains 1-2.
We'll also get you the line for the Game 2 starting pitcher, Kendall Lennon. Have that following the next pitch.
The 1-2 misses high for a ball now, even count at 2-2.
Lennon comes in with a 1-2 record across 14 appearances and 11 starts. She's pitched to a 7.32 ERA with a whip of 1.98, 2 complete games, 44 innings, 67 hits, 48 runs, 46 earned, 20 walks, 19 strikeouts.
And now make it 20 strikeouts as she gets Paul looking for the second out of the inning.
Here we go. The third baseman, number 42,
Olivia Warner now will come up with 2 gone. And I think, also, Joe, looking back into that game 1, Dolphins, of course, facing a really tough pitcher in Clark, who we talked about the numbers in that game. Clark, an ERA now, or going into that game, I should say, also, was under 2 as Warner gives that one a deep right into left center field, and that one takes a 1 bounce off the fence. Warner rounds first and will head into second safely with a 2-out double.
More solid contact from Olivia Warner. She has been a doubles machine this year. That is her 8th.
Richard Molly now comes up with an RBI opportunity as we get a second look at that last double off the bat of Warner. Into the gap in left center field. You mentioned it, Joe, has been a doubles machine for the Dolphins this season. Now going to give an opportunity to bring the Dolphins the first run of this game, the first run of the day for the CSI. As Bridget Molly takes the first pitch strike, 0-1 the count. Oh, 1 count here for Motley. She hits that right over to third, and a good play by Jorgensen. She makes the throw over to first base in time, and that will retire the side. We'll now head to the top half of the second inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. No score between the Dolphins and the Saints. Top half of the second inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. Georgia Sandylands leads it off here for the Saints. Takes the first pitch strike. The count goes to 0-1.
Sandylands 0 for 4 in the early game. Left 5 on base. Don't often see that from your cleanup hitter.
That was a 1-1 count. And I think that's also something to know for Kennedy Ruth, who did have the one bad inning, but she left a lot of runners on base too in that game, Joe. And that was really what was, a credit to her. Salas hit foul behind the plate in the netting, 1-2.
Well, I say it all the
time. On
time.
base. Go ahead.
Nick, when you're pitching in high-pressure situations with runners on in a close game, especially these close conference games, it gets really tough on a pitcher.
1-2 on the inside. Takes a bounce and off the glove of Warner into left field. That will more than likely go down as a base hit off the bat, and that'll be a leadoff single to start the second inning.
Leadoff batter on here for the Saints, as I'm sure you'll run that one back once more, Nick, and maybe we make that determination of hit or error. Sounded like solid contact, looked like solid contact, but it's always tough to tell when you're about 1,300 miles away in South Florida.
Bunt shown, and there's in there for a strike, 0-1 the count. Let's take a look at it right here, Joe. I'm saying hit because of how hard it was hit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Tough play for Warner over at third. Made a great defensive play in game one in the seventh inning. But that was just a rocket shot. Would have had a really tough play on that one, as the count now is even at 1-1. This is Gabby Moreno at the plate. Was responsible for the first run in game one with an RBI single back in that second inning. 4-run second inning for the Saints. It's that one foul behind the plate, 1-2.
Did anybody flinch?
Well, Joe wanted to make sure that not only did he not flinch, Matt, our SID also, or I'm sorry, Matt, our AD, Sam, our SID, did not flinch either. There we go.
Very good. Very good.
Just bad wording by my part.
Well, Nick, if you saw the latest edition of CSI Trivia,
yes.
You know, that may have been an inside job, but we won't talk about it. It might have been.
Did you have any partake in that?
I actually did not.
Ah, okay. So he just went into business for himself.
He did.
Ah, okay.
But if you haven't seen that, check it out on the College of Staten Island Instagram. The question is everyone aware that footage exists?
I don't know. I don't remember which chat you sent it. I think you sent it into our work chat, did you not?
I did, but
okay.
Are those administrators not in our work chat aware?
Ground ball towards second. They'll only have one play over to first base in time, as Moreno does move the lead runner over into scoring position. And there's now one gone here in the second. Isabella Mancino now comes up to the plate with one gone.
Well, how's that for a swinging bunt, Nick? I think you lost me and got me back very quickly.
For a second.
I'm here.
It sounded like you were for a second.
Yeah. Okay. To be fair, though, I was munching on my lunch during game one and muted myself several times.
Okay.
That's one of the perks of being the color commentator.
That's true. I heard your order that you had before we started that game. So it's into right field. The catch is made by Morris out in right field for the second out, as they hold the runner still over at second base.
Center fielder, number 26, Shannon House.
And Howe's now about with two gone. Still runner over at second. First pitch to her on the outside. In there for a strike, 0-1.
We've talked about it more than once already, Nick, but how about the growth of Marina Grenier in the circle this season? Has stepped into a role that she assumed in part last year, was effectively starter 1B. They had 1A, 1B, 1C. Kennedy Ruth was the undisputed 1A, and then you had Frenza and Grenier splitting time as the 1B and 1C, depending on how you looked at it, but Grenier has firmly stepped into that role as a top-of-the-line starter this year and has excelled.
And she was undoubtedly the unsung hero of the second game of the doubleheader, Joe. I mentioned it in game one. She had to pitch 11 innings on Tuesday in that win over the Lions. A really remarkable performance for her in that one. And she will look for another punch-out right here, but it's foul off down the left field line. Remains 1-2. Howes in game 1 was 0 for 4 with the punch out. And that one just missed on the outside corner, now 2-2. Looking at the line from Tuesday for Grenier, 11 innings, 11 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in that game. A soft liner the ground towards short. And how about that heads-up play by Lopez? She tags the lead runner over towards third, and that will retire the side. The Saints strand a runner here in the top half of the second. We head to the home second inning at the CSI Softball Complex. No score between the Saints and the Dolphins. Abby Morris lead off here in the home second inning for CSI. No score between the Dolphins and the Saints. Joe mentioned it earlier, Morris was 3 for 3 in game 1. Takes that first pitch for a strike, count goes to 0-1.
We mentioned Morris had the 3-hit game in game 1, but the Dolphins didn't have many of their base hits leave the infield. And Nick, how much does it weigh on them now as we approach 9 innings deep in today's doubleheader, having not scored a run?
A soft hit ball towards second, and how about that? It was not caught over at second base by Sandylands, and reaching first base to start this inning is Morris. A very tough one right there for the Saints. I think they're waiting to see how to score that one, Joe. We're going to look at it right here on the replay before I answer your question from before. I think that has to go down as an error. I don't know if you agree. I don't even know if you're here. That's how once hit foul down the first base line. They gave me the signal over by the score table. It is an
Nick,
error.
I hate to do this to Steph, but I have to ask her if she's streaming video on the laptop. I need her to cut the video. It's using the hotspot data.
She is not. Seth, you're not streaming the game for baseball, right, on this? Oh. Yeah, yeah, he's saying the connection is
well, no, it's using the hotspot data because we're using
hotspot data.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, just swap that over to the phone.
Got it. Strike 3 is called. Mendoza, she was not happy about that strike 3 call. And she's down for the first out of the inning. So Lace Smith will now bow here with 1 gone in the inning. Down the count here, 0-1. I thought for a second they were going to ask the towel to be thrown to the dugout, but Smith tucking it back in towards the pants.
Those towels, Nick, they are a menace.
They just continue to be a menace all season long.
So, official scoring there on that infield pop-up, an error?
Yes, that's where we all decided. It was a soft hit ball. Could have been played over there by Sandy Lentz, but it hit off of her glove, and then she gave it a bobble. So that one goes down to knee 4 on that play. That one in on the inside for Smith. Count now 2-1. Smith getting the start over at first base today. Very accustomed to seeing that in Marina Grenier starts this season. The 2-1. Fouled off now 2-2.
Well, we've seen Smith put together some good at-bats, some lengthy at-bats, but that hasn't necessarily paid off in terms of hit total yet. Just one hit, a couple of walks. But we've seen her with some good plate appearances, looking to see that begin to pay off with some opportunities to reach.
2-2 now here from Lennon. Chopper towards the middle. A tough play over at second again for Sandyland, and she makes the tag at second base. They almost turned the double play on that one, but they do get the lead runner going to second, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
That's a good heads-up play. We saw something similar at shortstop from Gianna Lopez in the previous half inning, applying the tag to the lead runner, trying to advance in front of her, and I think the ability to apply that tag makes that a bit of an easier play, as you see just moments ago.
Smith barely beating out that throw at first base as well. And I think something else to note too, Joe, is that was almost a double play right there. We saw what happened in that 7th inning for the Dolphins. They sent the first 2 base runners on base, but it was an immediate double play turn by the Saints that really, unfortunately, killed that rally for the Dolphins in that 7th inning. As the count now is 1-1 to the catcher, Rose Joseph.
Well, the Dolphins, Nick, were also victimized by a tough luck double play earlier in the game, right before our connectivity dropped and forced me off the live stream.
That play was a line drive to first base. Frankie Morris, the first baseman, in the right place at the right time as that one hit into left field. The catch is made out in left field by Mancino, and that will do it here in the home second. Dolphins strand the runner here in the home second inning. We now head to the top of the third. It's no score between the Dolphins and the Saints. Top half of the third inning here. CSI Softball Complex. No score between the Dolphins and the Saints. Sophia Arno batting here in game number 2. Did start game number 1, but was one of those flex players. She started over at short in game 1. She takes a big swing and a miss right there. She's down the count 0-2. The 0-2 misses high. Count now 1-2.
Well, these are the situations that I have my eye on when we watch Marina Grenier in the circle, Nick. It's 2-strike count, leadoff batter in the inning, bottom of the order hitter here in game 2. This is an out you need to get.
Misses low with that one, 2-2. We saw a couple of instances like that on Tuesday as well, Joe. And even then, she was able to still get some strikeouts late in that game, even into extra innings. So was still able to get the job done. She's in a 2-2 count here, and she does get the punch out for the first out of the inning.
Third strikeout for Grenier, who by my count, Nick, is now 4 away from 100.
That would be correct. Good math.
We've been on milestone watch quite a bit in recent weeks for both baseball and softball.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. You and I get to see Vincent Weigel's 100th career hit. what feels like an eternity ago. That was just last week.
It really does, Nick. And we do have some time before our next road trip, which is good because I have a long ride home.
That is true. As that one hit up the middle and threw for a base hit. Kayla Hustler is on what they want out single. And the Saints have a runner on base.
So, Nick, off topic, but just to confirm, you have a new vehicle now?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. In the process of.
All right, so we're closing in. I'm coming back with a new one. So maybe by the time I arrive, you join me.
When is the
I come back for the doubleheader on Saturday.
As that one hit into right field for another base hit. Also, we'll stay over at second base. It's a base hit off the bat, Danielle Fenlong, and now it's first and second for the Saints. Nobody out, or still one out, excuse me.
Well, to the
Jorgensen now
point,
comes up.
to the point I made before, Nick, it's so important to get that leadoff batter out, especially the number 9 hitter, when you have hitters near the top of the order looming, and you just see why right there. Back-to-back base hits. That last one, a well-struck liner through the right side, and if you're the Dolphins now, you're in a bit of a predicament here. Annie Jorgensen coming to the plate. We know how dangerous she is, and not much relief in the on-deck circle either. So Grenier is going to have to bear down and look to record a pair of big outs and keep this game scoreless.
Yeah, 3 hits for the Saints in this game. Now on the outside, 1-0. So I'm assuming the trip that you're mentioning is for the games against Queens, if I'm not mistaken. Steph's giving me the nod, yes. The 1-0. Big swing and a miss from Jorgensen right there, 1-1.
Well, the good news for Stephanie, our statistician, is that she can speak to me as if I'm there because I can hear her as well as I can hear you.
That's true. That's true.
The audience can't hear her, but I can, which is nice.
The 1-1. In there for a called strike now, 1-2.
The big question is, how well can the audience hear me without lag, hopefully?
It sounds fine, but that's just me saying that. That's just me saying that. I wouldn't sabotage. 1-2. In there for a strike as there's a big punch out right there for Grenier. And Joe, milestone watch still inbound. She's now 3 away.
And that's a really big strikeout, Nick, not just in pursuit of a career milestone, but in pursuit of a scoreless inning. One more big out to get as Frankie Morris comes to the plate.
Morris fouls that one off 0-1. I mentioned that Morris had an unfortunate sequence in game 1, fouled a pitch off of her leg, then got hit by the pitch. The very next pitch thrown by Kennedy Ruth down the back. Really tough sequence right there. She's now at a 2-strike count, 0-2 now the count.
Well, here we are again, Nick. 2-strike count, this time in a bit of a bigger spot, not to lead off the inning. A dangerous hitter, the cleanup hitter Morris. Can Grenier get that big 3rd strike?
She's trying to go on the outside corner once again, but it missed low. It's now 1-2. A chance here, Joe, as well for Grenier to get her 5th strikeout. She had 5, as I mentioned, all on Tuesday. Looking for number 5 here in the 3rd inning. The 1-2. On the outside, 2-2. They continue to go to the outside here for Morris. Let's see if they do that once again here on the 2-2 pitch. 2-2. Again on the outside, full count.
Georgia Sandylands would be next. Already has a hit against Grenier. She had the only hit during the first pass through the lineup for Dieuville.
From 0-2 to 3-2, the runners will go on this next pitch. The 3-2. Foul down the third base line. Lengthy battle here so far ensuing. We'll do it again here on 3-2. Hit down the left field line. Long run out in left field, but a great catch out in left field by Cohen, and that will do it here in the top half of the 3rd inning. St. Strand 2 runners on base here in the top half of the 3rd. We head to the home 3rd inning. No score between Dieuville and the College of Staten Island. Jennifer Cohen leads it off here in the home third inning for the Dolphins. Made a big catch in that last half inning to keep the Dolphins and Saints scoreless here at the bottom half of the third inning. As she takes the first pitch strike, the count goes to 0-1.
And that catch saved a couple of runs as well, Nick. Marina Greener did a good job navigating the heart of that Saints lineup during the previous half inning.
For Cohen on going into this game is the count now 1-1. This is only her second start of the season, Joe. So a huge opportunity for her right here. Already has a big play in this game. Now they're going to get on first base to start this third inning. The 1-1. Hit a mile high in the infield and caught by the first baseman Morris for the first out of the inning.
Well, as the Dolphins drag on without having scored a run yet in this doubleheader, Nick, is that a major concern to you? Is it a matter of running into a team that's playing well and pitching well? What do you think the mindset is right now? They've now gone over 9 innings without a run.
I think it's the mindset of you face a really tough pitcher in that first game, Joe. A pitcher that not a lot of teams have had success against her this season. And the fact that the Dolphins, keep in mind too, Clark threw under 100 pitches in that game. So the Dolphins are trying to make quick work and try to get some hits. They got some hits in that game, but just were not able to bring home a run in that one. I think it comes down to this team knows they can hit. It was just a matter of they faced a really tough pitcher in the circle, and they just were not able to find a way to get a run home. 1-0 down to third. Again, it's Jorgensen over at third base, and a nice scoop over at first by Morris for the second out of the inning.
Well, Nick, I'm glad you mentioned the pitch count for Clark during Game 1, because I think if there's anything that concerns you, it's just how efficient she was in going the distance and not allowing a run. I think when you look at her numbers on the season, of course, you're expecting her to pitch well, but to not score in a game that she pitched that efficiently in, I think the low volume of pitches is the number one concern for you as opposed to the 0 runs.
And that one's a base hit into left field by Madeline Paul. It's a first pitch single right there with 2 gone in the inning, and that will extend the inning for CSI. And that's something to note too, Joe. I'm glad you brought that up, because if you look at London's pitch count right now here in the third, that was just her 31st pitch that she threw on that 2-out single by Paul.
Well, the Dolphins have been aggressive, and speaking of aggressive, Madeline Paul on the base paths has been very aggressive this year. I'd expect her to run at some point during this at-bat.
Especially in the bat with Olivia Warner at the plate. Maybe a potential hit and run for the Dolphins in this spot. There she goes immediately on the first pitch, and it skips over to second base, not in time. She's in there for a stolen base.
I hear some murmuring about the runner leaving early,
Said
Nick.
the runner left early, yeah. She's out.
Well, that would end the inning.
D will end the inning. We'll get a look at it, Joe, before we head to break. Yeah. Don't see that very often.
Nick? What do you think?
I think she left just a second earlier before the pitch got there. What were your initial thoughts?
Well, I think we picked up the replay a bit far into her leaving.
As a look at it, it's slow.
Well, I'll tell you, Nick, if it's on the release of the ball, she left early.
Yeah.
Is it the beginning of the motion or the release of the ball?
I think it's the release of the ball.
Well, then she left early.
Yeah. We'll stay here between innings as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Still no score, but I think it's on the release of the ball, and she definitely left a second earlier if that was the case.
Georgia, Sandy Lance.
Don't see that very often.
No, you don't. I think I've maybe seen it on average once or twice per season, and I'm coming up now. This is year 10 of covering softball, which is hard to believe, Nick.
I know. I was trying to think of an instance that I've seen before with that, but I can't remember one off the top of my head.
Actually, Nick, I think this is year 11. This is year 11 for me.
The 0-1. Foul out of play, now 0-2.
Yeah, 16 through 26. This is the start, or now we're at the midway point of my 11th year covering CSI softball.
They're going to put you in UNC status if you keep this up.
I've been in UNC status for a while now.
0-2, Mrs. High 1-2.
The gray hair doesn't help, but I think there's definitely a generational disconnect between myself and the incoming student athletes for sure.
The 1-2 is a softly hit ball into left field. Long run out by Lopez over at short. And she makes the over-the-head catch for the first out of the inning.
And she's really been phenomenal defensively all season long, hasn't she, Nick? Whether it's ranging back on a ball in a situation like that or making the right decision with it on the infield, being aware of base runners to apply a tag like we saw earlier in the game, or diving in the hole, she's made every play look easy all season long, and that is not a routine play for a shortstop.
First pitch right there to Moreno in there for a strike 0-1. And I think that's something also, Joey. We've seen her not only play great at third, but now she's doing it over at shortstop. Really tough for a lot of players you see in the course of time transitioning from one position to the other. And Lopez just making it look easy on that one right there. Meanwhile, at the plate, Moreno's quickly now in a count of 0-2. And now make it 1-2 as that one misses high.
Well, the Dolphins have been trying to strike a balance when they put this lineup together in the best batch you can put in there, in addition to the best defensive lineup you can get out there.
That one was a softly hit liner down the first base line. Foul. Still remains 1-2.
And when you do that, sometimes players that are very capable defensively end up having to play more than one difficult position. In the case of Lopez, she's played some third, she's played some short, arguably two of the toughest positions to play in the field.
And make it now 5 punch-outs for Grenier as Moreno's down swinging for the second out of the inning.
Well, Grenier continues rolling. 5th strikeout of the game, 2 away from the century mark for her career.
That brings up Isabella Mancino now with 2 gone. Fouls that one off 0-1. She's already matched her total from strikeouts on Tuesday. 5 punch-outs here in the 4th. It's up early in the count here, 0-1. The 0-1. That one chopped over towards second. Molly bobbles it, throws it to first, and they will not have a play. It's an E4 that will extend the inning for the Saints, as Isabella Mancino reaches first base safely.
Well, those are the kind of errors you absolutely hate to see, Nick. A routine ground ball, not hit hard, plenty of time to get the runner. It would have been the final out of the inning. Gets Grenier and the rest of your teammates back in the dugout. Play simply not made.
Well, Joe, we have a couple of updates as well from Dobbs Ferry. Jaden Waterman with a 2 RBI single tied the game at 2. Jack Keogh a 2 RBI double. CSI now with a 4-2 lead in the top half of the 3rd inning at Dobbs Ferry. Meanwhile, here it's an 0-1 count, making now 0-2. As Grenier now a strike away from 6 strikeouts in this game. You spoke about it to me before we got on the air, how big of a game that is for the baseball team in terms of trying to pick up a win against Mercy today, in terms of the rest of the conference schedule this season. As it just misses on the outside corner, 1-2.
Well, we face another 2-strike count, Nick. And how many times have we seen Grenier get ahead 0-2?
Seems like so often. There goes the runner towards second, and the throw is not in time, as Mancino reaches second base safely with a stolen base. And now the Saints with a 2-2 count with 2 gone and a runner on second have an RBI opportunity here for Shannon Howes.
A base hit here, Nick, can really make that error sting.
Pop up down the third base line, but playable enough for Warner to make the catch and retire the side here in the top half of the 4th. The Saints will strand that runner on base here in the 4th inning. We now head to the bottom half of the 4th inning. No score still between the Dolphins and the Saints. Olivia Warner, Joe, gets another opportunity here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. We saw her at bat in that third inning, but it was an unofficial at bat as Madeline Paul went early on a stolen base attempt to end that third inning, and we now head to the fourth. Still scoreless between the Dolphins and the Saints.
We've seen the Dolphins in games like this more than once before this year. Runs at a premium, and we've seen them compete in a couple of slugfests as well.
The 1-0 on the outside, 2-0. Yeah, that scriptwriter might have seen a couple of games like that, huh?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. I'm going to continue the bet as much as well as we go into the season. Might as well. The 2-0 here. That one hit into left and past the diving shortstop for a leadoff single for Olivia Warner. Third hit of the game for the Dolphins, and they have a leadoff base runner.
The second baseman, number 22, Bridget Motley.
Warner now with 2 of the 3 hits in the game for CSI. She's a perfect 2 for 2 from the plate, hitting well above the 400 mark as we have crossed the midway point of the season now.
Now there's a conversation down the first base line, Joe. Not entirely sure what.
All right, well, Nick, I think that conversation gives us a moment for me to let you know that once again your feed is having some issues. It looks like we've resumed normal video output for now. I'm monitoring that.
Okay. Might have been for the towel again, Joe. I think that was the reason.
The towel? Oh,
Yeah,
the towel in the pocket.
Yeah.
Those pesky towels.
I think that's what it was, but they were looking down into right field. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, someone got escorted out. Okay, there you go.
Who got to do the escorting?
I don't know. As that one's a mile-high, shallow left center, and the catch is made out in left field for the first out of the inning. Yeah,
You
that's a
have
good
to
question.
you have to be a special kind of character to be escorted from the premises, Nick. I must say.
Yeah. Yeah.
The right fielder, number 20, Abby Morris.
Now the question is, can you hear Steph? Can the audience hear Steph, or only you can hear Steph?
Only I can hear her, Nick.
Okay, so maybe she gave more insight as to what happened, or maybe will at some point. We'll see. Abby Morris at the plate here for the Dolphins. 1 out in the inning. The wind's starting to intensify here at the softball complex as there's a blooper towards first. Really no play in terms of the Dolphins moving at the base runner up as it's Morris over at first, and Morris retires Morris for the second out of the inning.
The center fielder, number 7, Eileen Mendoza.
Eileen Mendoza now comes up with 2 gone.
Now, Nick, looking back 2 plate appearances ago now when Motley is at the plate, nobody out. Is it too early in the game to consider a bunt with your number 3 hitter if you send in a pinch runner? Is it too early to think,
I think it's
get
still
1
too
run
early.
here? Too early?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But I was curious what you would think.
Yeah, there's still a lot to go. You're getting a great start so far from Greenier. I know you would like to get that run in at some point, but I think it's still a little bit too early, especially at that top of the order. They throw over to first base, and Warner's back in safely as Mendoza now is up in the count 2-0.
Well, Nick, given the swings we saw from Mendoza against Malloy, I think you try and unleash on a pitch here. 2-0, 2 outs, a runner only at first, a single not going to score Warner.
I don't got it, Joe. And unfortunately, Moreno doesn't either.
Well, new life for the Dolphins, Nick. I was hoping an opportunity for you, but not quite.
Just not enough air on that one. I was ready, though. I was definitely coming my way if that was the case.
Nick, I hear Stephanie as if she's in my living room.
2-1 into right center, and that drops in for a base hit. Warner will hold over at second base. Mendoza's on with a 2-out single.
Well, that presents a big opportunity here. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Joe Calabrese very adeptly announcing in 00 Soleil Smith. I heard so many number zeros watching the games for baseball yesterday. Yeah, I was in a really bad place.
Disgusted.
Disgusting behavior, says Nick.
Soleil Smith fouls that one off. And you mentioned before, Joe, as well, on that dropped pop-up behind the plate, some new life for the Dolphins. Mendoza gets the single, and now Smith has an RBI opportunity here. Big chance for the Dolphins to make them pay. Count 0-1. Again, fouled all this time behind the plate, now 0-2. So Lennon now a strike away from getting out of the inning. He's about to throw a 42nd pitch of this game, so still making some quick work in this one. The 0-2. Chop towards the circle. Lennon plays it on a backhand, throws it on to first base in time, and they get the final out of the bottom half of the fourth inning. Dolphins strand 2 runners on base here in the bottom of the fourth. We head to the top of the fifth with no score between the Dolphins and the Saints.
Yeah.
It's a 1-0 count to start the top half of the fifth inning. Make it now 1-1. Big swing and a miss right there for Sophia Arnaud. It's now a 1-1 count as we remain scoreless here in the fifth inning, Joe.
And Nick, that was a big play by Lennon to end that last half inning. That was far from a routine play. She was able to snag that ball on the chopper using the backhand right in the webbing of her glove. That was not a sure thing. She had to fire to first and got the throw there just in time to retire Smith.
Grenier now 1 strike away from a 6th punch-out in this game. Got Arnaud her first time up, but misses high with that one, now 2-2. And Arnaud thought about going on that one, but well on the outside corner for a ball. 3-2 now the count. You would hate to walk the number 9 hitter to start the inning. The 3-2. Just chopped foul behind the plate.
That one was almost like 3D video, Nick, coming right at our camera behind the backstop.
Good thing there's some netting.
Good thing. That doesn't stop some people from flinching. I won't name names.
I'm not on that list, I can tell you that. I'm not on that list, and I will never be on that list. For some others, that might be a different story. The 3-2 here from Grenier once again. And again, found that one off as Arnaud, making a good battle right here.
Well, speaking of some others, Nick, they might need to find a new job. Just saying.
I wonder why you say that. I think I know. Another 3-2 here from Grenier. And again, it's fouled off behind the plate.
Well, Nick, once again, it's a similar situation. 2-strike count on the first batter of the inning, number 9 hitter. Whether or not you find the zone with this next pitch completely changes the complexion of the inning.
Another 3-2, and hit up the middle and through for a base hit. A well-executed at-bat by Sophia Arnaud. Fouls off a couple pitches, was down in the count, and she's on with a leadoff single.
That was a rocket shot off the bat of Arnaud, Nick. A great at-bat, as you mentioned, working the count full, forcing Grenier to throw a lot of pitches and not giving in. She hit that one right back to where it was pitched, line drive into center field to get the inning started. And you're in a situation now, Nick, where you may send in a pinch runner, you may look to swipe a bag, you may look to bunt. Plenty on the table here for D'Youville. The question is it too late for them to give up an at-bat in the top of their order to move the runner over?
Well, they have pinch ran over at first base. It's Taylor Stronzinski, who we did see pitch run in Game 1.
Now pitch running for the Saints, number 11.
The season I mentioned as well, she's 3 for 4 this year in stolen base attempts. So they show bunt. There she goes towards second base, and the throw to second is in time. Perfect throw by Rose Joseph, and there is one away.
Well, no need to mind the bunt now as the Dolphins get the out via the caught stealing. I think CSI was well aware that was coming. I think you and I both knew that at some point they would likely look to run or lay down a bunt. They show bunt, pull it back, runner takes off, and Joseph made no mistake on that throw. A perfect strike into the runner sliding into second base.
Great throw from Joseph behind the plate. Stronzinski caught for the second time this season. Big out number 1 for the Dolphins as the count now is 1-1 to Michaela Hassar. And the 1-1 misses on the outside corner, 2-1.
When you look at stolen base totals for the opposition against the Dolphins entering this game, 21 of 27. You'll take that if you're the Dolphins.
That one hit down the third base line, and Warner not able to make the over-the-shoulder catch. It goes foul out of play now, 2-2.
I don't have the metric off the top of my head, Nick. What would you consider a good stolen base rate in the majors?
That's tough.
I'm going to look up the average right now. 78 to 80%.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to think of the exact number in terms of like stolen base number, like in attempts.
Yeah, I was thinking 75. That was the average around 2021 to 2022.
Ground ball to Motley. She throws it on to first base in time. There's now 2 gone in the inning. Yeah, I think you'll take that if you're any team, you know, Major League Baseball or even here at softball, you'll take that number. We've seen both teams this season with a high number in terms of stolen base attempts. And it's really helped both teams so far this season. Dolphins, of course, after losing Game 1, now 4-1 in conference play. The Saints now going to 2-3 with the victory in Game 1. But they didn't have to have an attempt to steal a base in Game 1. They tried it right there. But just a good throw by Rose Joseph prevented the runner from getting into scoring position.
And I think, Nick, something that really stands out for the first time in their Division II history, the Dolphins are major net positive in the stolen base column.
You and I have harped about those numbers for a good portion of this season. Been a different, style of sets from this team that we saw last season as well. As the count now is 2-1. At the plate here is Danielle Fenlong. She's currently 1 for 1 at the plate. Also has a walk in this game. Up the count here, 2-1. And drills that one foul down the first base line. Count evens at 2.
Well, the good news for Grenier, she is on the doorstep of 5 scoreless. The bad news, she's very quickly approaching 100 pitches and will need, in all likelihood, at least 6 more outs to have a chance for a win.
Pitch number 96, in there for a called strike 3. She's got 6 punch-outs. She's 1 away from 100, and that will do it here in the top half of the 5th inning. Nobody left on base here in the top half of the 5th. We head to the home 5th inning at the CSI Softball Complex. We're still knotted up at 0 apiece. First pitch swinging was Rose Joseph to get things going here in the home fifth inning. She's retired on a ground ball towards shortstop. And just like that, Joe, it's the pitcher's best friend. One pitch, one out here in the home fifth.
Best friend or not, perhaps debatable, but either way,
I
it
think
is a
so.
quick out. You know, you and I have had this discussion so many times. I think a first pitch out is great. The double play is a candidate.
That's true.
The triple play, I think, would unquestionably be the pitcher's best friend. But we
No
don't see
question
those
about it.
enough. Yeah, we don't
No.
see those enough.
Double plays we see rarely here at the softball diamond. We've seen a couple here today.
You could also make the case that the big inning is a pitcher's best friend if you
That's
have,
true.
you know, a crooked number go up there behind your starter.
And if
So-
I'm not mistaken, I think on Tuesday we also had, I believe one of the pitchers on Malloy had a 3-pitch inning. If my memory serves me correct. Couldn't tell you
would
what
know,
inning
I
it
would
was.
not.
I couldn't tell you what inning it was. 19 innings of softball. A lot to remember from that doubleheader on Tuesday, as Cohen, meanwhile, is behind the count now 0-2 as she fouls that last pitch off.
I have to admit, Nick, I was a bit upset to miss that all-time classic, but you did a great job in my absence. Got to cover a Dolphins win on the road. Baseball in Pomona taking on St. Thomas Aquinas.
0-2 here for Cohen. On the outside, strike 3. And Lennon gets the strikeout for the second out of the inning.
2 up, 2 down very quickly for the Dolphins here in the home fifth. And boy, has this game been moving quickly, Nick. There's been some traffic on the base paths along the way, but even with some base runners, there hasn't been that exceptionally long inning that's really taxed either of these
Yeah.
pitchers, especially Lennon.
Lennon is at 46 pitches coming into this at-bat. And it's another first pitch swing, and it's a base hit down the left field line for Lopez. And how about the play in left field? You were not really able to see it on that one, Joe, but Mancino went to a sliding stop down the left field line and prevented an extra base hit.
Well, that extra base definitely could loom large depending on what Madeline Paul does with this at-bat. Lopez continues to swing her bat well. She's now 1 for 3 here in Game 2. Already had a hit in Game 1, and we'll see if they look to send her, Nick. The Dolphins might need just one.
It's another first pitch swing, and the Saints were not happy with that. Jorgensen thought she had a fair ball down the third base line, but it's ruled foul.
What do you think, Nick?
I'd have to get a look. I was trying to switch our cameras in the quick second. I thought it was fair, to be fair. To be honest,
Well,
Joe.
from the angle behind the backstop, I thought so too, but really tough to tell without a slow motion look.
We do have a good look at it if we have a chance. There goes the runner towards second. It skips in there, and they got her at second base. Moreno's throw skipped towards the second base bag, but they do get the out, and that will do it here in the home fifth inning. Both catchers making some strong throws in these last couple of innings. We head to the sixth inning. We're still scoreless between the Dolphins and the Saints. Top of the sixth inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. We are still scoreless between the Dolphins and the Saints. It has been a pitcher's duel so far between Kendall Lennon and Marina Grenier. At the plate here for the Saints to start this inning, Annie Jorgensen up in the count early 1-0. 1-0 on the outside for a called strike, 1-1. Joe, during the break I mentioned to you, after this at bat, we're going to look at that play over at third base. It's all a moot point now, but a really close play down the third base line. So that's on the outside for a ball now, 2-1.
Big inning here for Grenier. Big opportunity for the Saints. 3, 4, and 5 due up in a scoreless game. It may take just one big swing for either of these teams to pick up a big conference win.
Now it misses high for ball 3. This next upcoming pitch will be pitch number 100 for Grenier. As she's behind the count now, 3-1.
And what you certainly can't afford, Nick, is to allow base runners without the bat needing to be swung. Grenier a pitch away from a leadoff walk.
And she does issue the leadoff walk. And that could present an opportunity, Joe. I know it is the heart of the order, but we'll see how the Saints approach this. Morris probably won't lay down a bunt. But with
in game one,
base,
Nick,
and nobody out, we'll see.
Yeah, in game one, Nick, the Dolphins did draw 5 walks. The Saints also drew 5 walks. We haven't seen that same patience from the Dolphins here in game 2.
There is the bunt, and it's a good one down the third base line. Warner throws it to first, and it's offline into right field. That will allow both runners to advance a base. They'll hold both runners over at second and third, but now danger looming for the Dolphins. Second and third, and nobody out.
And Nick, I think we'll go to replay to find the answer, but did she even have a chance with a good throw there?
We'll get a look, but it would have been really close, I feel like, over at first. I'm not so certain they would have gotten the play. It was a really good bunt.
Yeah, I don't know if they had a chance, Nick.
We'll get a look after this upcoming next pitch. Great chance here for Georgia Sandylands. As we'll get one quick look. See in slow motion the throw from third base. Might have been close. I think because of where she was running down the first base line, Joe, that's why Warner had to throw it in that spot. Otherwise, it would have hit the base runner.
I think they needed a perfect throw to have any chance, and I'm not sure they had one.
Yeah, just really no room to throw that one.
Tough play on the move as well.
0-2 count here now for Grenier. And she's got 100. Strikeout number 7 of the day, and a huge first out for the Dolphins.
And you could argue, Nick, there was no better spot to get one. 2 in scoring position, nobody out, and Grenier comes up with the 100th strikeout of her collegiate career in a massive spot against a very dangerous hitter.
Gabby Moreno now up with 1 gone, still second and third. And she takes a big swing and a miss for a strike, 0-1. And we've said it so many times this season, Joe. Despite being up in the triple-digit count, Grenier is still throwing gas right now at this point in the game.
And you get a look at these last 2 Saints hitters. They've gone up the ladder after that fastball. No need to chase here.
On the outside corner for a strike, 0-2. How big would it be if she was able to get back-to-back strikeouts after allowing the first 2 base runners on? A huge upcoming pitch. 0-2 here for Grenier. The 0-2. Strikeout number 8. 2 gone in the inning.
And again, she got her to chase, Nick. Moreno looking to swing 0-2, needed to protect. Grenier got her to chase up the ladder. Half swing. Moreno went too far. She's a strikeout victim. Number 101, arguably bigger than number 100.
And thinking about that, you mentioned it, Joe, in that bat. 2 fastballs high, chest high, and she got her to chase on both of them. Big strikeout, 2 gone, up to Isabella Mancino. The 1-0. Half-hearted swing, fouled off behind the plate, 1-1. Count now 1-1 here to Mancino. The 1-1. On the outside, 2-1. And I almost posed the question, Joe, on that last at bat. Would they maybe even consider loading the bases to try to get the force? That was a moot point after getting that quick strikeout. 2-1. Fouled off. 2-2.
And Nick, it seemed so improbable just 3 batters ago, but now Grenier is 1 pitch away from keeping this game scoreless. If she gets out of this, momentum completely swings back in the direction of the Dolphins.
Looking for her 9th strikeout of the day, the 2-2. Misses high and outside. Ball 3. Full count. First base is open here in this next upcoming pitch.
Oh, credit to Mancino there for not chasing. It would have been easy to do so. 2-strike count. She's run it full. Huge pitch here.
The 3-2 from Grenier. In on the inside. Called strike 3. Strikeout number 9. And after having second and third, nobody out, 3 straight punch-outs, retires the side here in the top half of the 6th. We head to the home 6th inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. Marina Grenier being celebrated for 100 career strikeouts, big strikeouts afterwards as well. We now go to the bottom of the 6th. Still scoreless between the Dolphins and the Saints. Bottom of the 6th inning here at the CSI Softball Complex. It is still a scoreless game between the Dolphins and the Saints. And Joe, remarkable stuff from Marina Grenier in that last half inning. Second and third, nobody out for D'Youville. 3 straight strikeouts, including her 100th career strikeout. Keeps the Dolphins and Saints scoreless heading into the bottom of the 6th inning.
You can't ask for any more from Grenier in that spot. She had her back up against the wall. Late innings, the team with their back up against the wall. She strands 2 in scoring position by striking out the side. What a job by Grenier. And very quickly, the Dolphins thought for a moment they had a base runner, but they're going to call Paul back.
Yeah, Madeline Paul thought she was hit on the cleat on that one, but it looked like it skipped in the turf before it hit her. See, Steph, I said turf this time.
Well, Nick, when you said turf, I heard Stephanie's reaction as if she was over my right shoulder.
It was towards baseball.
Okay.
Swung on a miss 1-1. The reason for that is now it's a 4-4 game in the bottom of the 4th inning at Dobbs Ferry. Count here 1-1 for Madeline Paul. 2, 3, and 4 up in the inning for the Dolphins. Off-speed pitch hit into left center, and it's over the center fielder and into the gap. That's going to be extra bases for Madeline Paul, and the Dolphins have the go-ahead runner in scoring position.
Well, talk about a complete shift in the momentum of this game, Nick. D'Youville with 2 in scoring position, nobody out. They do not score. The Dolphins leave the field fired up. Paul comes to the plate to begin the home 6th inning and laces a double over the diving center fielder, Howes. Great effort there just to make that one close, but Howes couldn't get a glove on it. It rolls all the way to the wall, and the Dolphins have the go-ahead runner in scoring position.
Olivia Warder now with a great chance here. Takes that first pitch for a strike, 0-1. That was, what I mentioned, an off-speed pitch that Lennon threw in that one. And Paul waited on it and connected with it. Dolphins now trying to bring her home and take back the lead for the first time today. The 0-1. Mrs. High now 1-1.
Oh, if there's any Dolphin you wanted to play in a spot like this, I've said it more than once already, Nick, it's Warner, especially in this game as she's already 2 for 2 against Lennon.
Lennon getting the call from her dugout. The 1-1 upcoming here. Hit down the right field line in fair territory for the moment, but it rolls foul. No play whatsoever, and the count goes to 1-2.
Now, Nick, again, you're not going to bunt with Warner, but do you think maybe one of the pinch runners serves you better? Do you think Paul has enough speed? We know how good she is at stealing bases.
I would leave Paul out there.
Because you do get to re-enter her once. Keep that in mind as well.
It's a 1-2 count now for Warner. It's that one, shallow right center. Long run, but it's caught out in right center field by the second baseman, Sandy Lands. Paul will have to stay over at second base, and there is one gone in the inning.
Well, the unproductive out always stings. At the very least, you'd like to move Paul to third. It doesn't happen, and now Bridget Motley will come to the plate with a chance to single home the go-ahead run.
Lennon at 54 pitches, and the more remarkable number on that, Joe, 40 of those 54 pitches have been strikes. Speaking of strikes, she throws that one in there for a strike. Count 0-1. Bridget Motley at the plate. Mentioned on Tuesday, game tying hit in the 10th inning to tie the game at 3 at that point. Big spot here with one out in the 6th. As she takes that one for a ball, 1-1.
Well, I have to say, Nick, it's easy when hindsight's 20/20. I think Warner is the only batter in the lineup that I might not have bunted with in that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
because
think
you score here,
Joe.
you're 3 outs away.
Right. 1-1. In on the inside for a strike, now 1-2.
I don't think you consider it with Warner, not in the slightest. I think any other Dolphin in the lineup, I might have bunted.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. It's tough to really bunt in that spot, especially with your number 3.
Oh, you can't. You don't bunt Warner.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances do you bunt Warner.
The 1-2 to Motley. On the outside, 2-2. Well, I can't make the joke this time, Joe. 2-2 at the plate. Count is 2-2.
I mean, you
hold on
can.
now. I kind of did. Just kind of.
If Motley comes through, I give you permission to use the all-aboard call.
I got you. The 2-2. In on the inside. And the Uville faithful not happy with that call. It's full, 3-2.
You know the Saints fans wanted that call. Probably feeling like that's the pitch that ended the last half inning, don't you think?
Yeah, it looked like the similar pitch they got in this same at-bat for the second strike call. It was very close. It's full count, 3-2. And that one's in there for a called strike 3. Big punch out for Lennon and a huge second out for the Saints.
Well, you hate to go down looking in a spot like that, especially with the tying run already in scoring position. But that will leave it to Abby Morris, who had a 3-hit game 1. Still looking for our first hit here in game 2. It could not come at a better time if you're a Dolphins fan. And on the other side of this matchup, Nick, Lennon is one big out away from coming close to matching what Grenier did in the top half.
On the outside, called strike, count 0-1. You're right, Joe. Both pitchers have to escape different situations. Grenier last inning, second and third, nobody out. Lennon in this inning, runner on second, nobody out. And is 1 out away from doing so and keeping this game scoreless heading into the 7th. The 0-1. Hit up the middle and hit right towards the shortstop. And that is a good strong throw by Arno. And that will do it here in the home 6th inning. Both pitchers able to escape jams in the last 2 innings. We now head to the top of the 7th. We are still scoreless between the Dolphins and the Saints. Shannon Howe's first pitch throw to her is in there for a strike. 0-1, top of the 7th inning, and we are still scoreless between the Dolphins and the Saints.
Well, Nick, you look at the job that these two pitchers have done with runners on base. It's been really impressive.
nearly identical stat lines as well for both teams. Saints, no runs on 5 hits and 2 errors. The Dolphins, no runs on 6 hits and 2 errors in this game. 1-1 count from Grenier. In there for a strike, 1-2. And Joe, she is now a strike away from 4 straight punch-outs, and it would be number 10 of the day for her.
And I believe 10 would be a season high.
The 1-2. It fouled down the third base line.
And it would match a season high. 10 against Holy Family back on March 24th.
Another 1-2. That one misses high. Stopped by Joseph. Count now even at 2.
For the Saints here in the 7th. 8-9-1 due up, so a quick inning would be ideal if you're Grenier. Of course, it always is.
But once again, Joe, up in the count with 2 strikes, has now fallen behind the count. It's full 3-2.
It's been common for her, but in this game, she's found ways to bounce back, whether it be against that same hitter or later in the inning, getting out of it.
And Howes once again fouls that one off. We saw that the last time facing the bottom half of this order, especially facing Arno in that spot. Had a couple of foul balls hit and then was able to connect for a base hit up the middle. Bottom half of the order not providing any help here for Grenier. As there's a base hit right up the middle, right on cue, Joe. Shannon Howes is on with the leadoff single, and the go-ahead runner is on first base.
Well, you have to love what the leadoff batter has done in each of the last 2 innings for D'Youville. Howes right there, works it full, delivers a base hit, and we've seen it more than once already. Hitters working walks, as Jorgensen did in the last inning. Another full count earlier on a 3-2 pitch by Arno. Good at-bats for the Saints team.
And how about that? They get the out at first base. Another well-executed bunt, this time by Arno. But Warner just picked it up at the right time, and she makes also a strong throw to first. But it's a productive out by Arno. She now moves the runner into scoring position.
And Nick, Warner made that decision to field that ball just in time. I thought she was about to let it roll.
I thought
Instead,
so too.
looked to make the play, and they just got the runner.
And I think the only reason she did make the decision is because it wasn't going to roll into foul territory. You got to look at it right here. Another bunt down that third base line. It was going to stay fair the entire way. A great job by
I think
Warner.
it was headed foul, Nick.
You think so?
I think so. But she made the right call. Get the out.
Yeah. You can't really chance it at this point. If you have an
No.
opportunity to get the out, you get it.
Without a doubt.
It's a 1-1 count out here to Michaela Hussar. Big spot for her here with a runner in scoring position. But she hits that one the opposite way, foul. It's now 1-2.
Well, here we go again, Nick. 2-strike count. Grenier ahead on Hussar, and she needs a strikeout here. It doesn't have to be a strikeout, but ideally you'd like to keep that runner at second. You certainly have to have an out in this spot. First base is open, but with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters looming, this is the out you want to get ahead 1-2.
Looking for strikeout number 10 once again. But Hussar hits that one foul once again down the left field line. It's still 1-2 here for Grenier. The 1-2 once again. And a good stop by Joseph. That one almost went to the backstop. It could have allowed the runner to move into third base. It's now 2-2. 2-2 from Grenier. That one hit down the left field line and out of play. Still remains 2-2.
The battle continues, Nick, and these Saints hitters all day long, even when they've gone down on strikes, have made it tough on Grenier. They have not given away many outs, and I think when they chased out of the zone during the last inning, that's really when they gave Grenier a big break out there in the circle.
Another 2-2 on the outside, ball 3. Good at bat beam right here as it's now full at 3-2. Hussar looking for a walk. The 3-2. Hit a mile high. Is it playable down the first base line? It goes into the Saint dugout, foul. I was going to take a look back, Joe, on Tuesday for Marina Grenier, in that game, she threw 144 pitches. She came into this at-bat at a current total of 122. Another 3-2 here. Hit towards short. Lopez is there. Throws it on to first base in time for the out, and they throw it back to second. And you saw it right there, Joe. It was a slight hesitation. They thought about going to third, but they will hold the runner over at third base. 2 outs now here in the 7th.
The Dolphins get the best case scenario there. They get an out, and they keep the runner over at second base. A base hit still likely to score the runner. It's not a sure thing. And you have Danielle Fenlong to the plate if you're D'Youville with a chance to take the lead.
Takes that first pitch for a strike now, 0-1. Officially now, Grenier is at 132 pitches in this game. The 0-1. Misses low, 1-1. The 1-1. Again, misses low. Good stop by Joseph. Now 2-1. Molly giving some words to her starting pitcher. She looks to get this final out to keep it scoreless. The 2-1. Hit into a blooper down the right field line. And that is a fair ball. That will bring home Howes, moving to second base with an RBI double. Is a big one right there for the Saints. It's an RBI double for Fenlong. They lead it 1-0.
Big base hit there for the Saints right fielder. A go-ahead single. Make it a double down the line. My mistake as D'Youville goes in front 1-0. First run of this game is across, and the pressure is now on Grenier and the Dolphins to keep this deficit right where it is as they will come to the plate down to their final 3 outs.
Fly ball into left field. Long run for Cohen, and she makes the diving catch. And that will prevent a second run from scoring here in the top half of the 7th. But Danielle Fenlong's RBI double down the right field line will give the Saints their first lead of game number 2. We head to the home 7th. Dolphins down to their final 3 outs as they now trail this one 1-0. Home 7th inning here at the CSI Softball Complex, and a change in the scoreboard. For the first time today in game number 2, the Saints lead at 1-0. Danielle Fenlong's RBI double down the right field line has now put the Saints in a position to sweep today's doubleheader and even their conference record on the season at 3-3. But the Dolphins, still with 3 outs to play with, will send up to the plate Mylene Mendoza to get things going here in the home 7th.
Well, we said it earlier in the game, Nick. Mendoza certainly capable of one big swing. The Dolphins don't need that here, but would certainly take it.
The 1-0. That's a hit into right, but not deep enough to make any play. And that was a really scary play if you're the Saints right there.
Oh, boy. That was close.
Fenlong initially moving back, then moved in and just made the catch in time. And the Dolphins now down to their final 2 outs, 1 gone in the inning. And they will send Taryn Judson up to the plate as a pinch hitter.
Well, I can hear the wind in my headset. I know you can feel it out there on Staten Island, but you have to think that had an impact on that last play.
It certainly did, Joe. You have to wonder if it was like the weather we had in game 1 maybe.
Wow.
That would have been a difference.
Sounds like a tornado out there.
I'll tell you this, it's not the coldest we've had here this season. But I did have to put my jacket on. It did start to get a little breezy.
It sounds like you're cruising in your new vehicle with the windows down.
I'm through a wind tunnel at this point. First pitch to Judson. in the turf for a ball 1-0. Meanwhile, update from Dobbs Ferry, Joe as well. Jaden Waterman continues his hot streak over the last week. RBI double puts CSI up 5-4 in the 5th inning. The 1-0 to Judson. And on the inside, 2-0. And something that I noted to you as well in that last half inning, a really tough break for the Dolphins. That ball hit by Fenelon down the right field line. Just got into fair territory and was able to award her that RBI double. 2-0. A foul behind the plate, 2-1.
Now, is there a situation, Nick, where you consider taking all the way 2-0, or in a one-run game you unleash it and swing for the fences?
I think if it's anything good, you swing at it, but it has to be a really strong pitch that you know you could turn on it.
Because looking at that pitch, I thought it was ball 3, Nick.
Yeah, I thought so too. 2-1. That one in on the inside, and you can see it. Judson hobbling a little bit. That one fouled up right off of her leg. And she is into some discomfort. We saw that also in Game 1 for Frankie Morris, the first baseman for the Saints. As count now even to 2. Judson still trying to walk it off down the third base line.
Now, Nick, if you can, while we have a break in the action, you get a look toward the on-deck circle. Is it Joseph who's going to hit for herself, or do the Dolphins have a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle?
As of right now, Rose Joseph is in the on-deck circle. Dolphins would love to get a runner on base in this spot, but Judson is now in a count of 2-2 after being up 2-0. The 2-2. And on the inside, Bluebill left center field, and a diving catch out in center field is made. An incredible catch by Howes, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
Well, Cohen took away a run with a diving catch in the previous half inning. Howes takes away a key base runner with a diving catch in center for the Saints. Dolphins down to their final out.
We have seen some incredible defensive plays over this week. Big play by Howes, who of course was responsible for scoring the go-ahead run. It's now up to Rose Joseph with 2 gone here in the 7th. First pitch in the turf for a ball 1-0. Jennifer Cohen in the on-deck circle right now for the Dolphins. They're down to their last breath here. Count of 1-0. Hit up towards second. Going to be a tough play on the backhand. Throw to first base is in time. And the Saints take both games of today's doubleheader as they win a thrilling matchup here in Game 2 by the final of 1-0.
The Duville University Saints 1 and your CSI Dolphins 0. CSI's next home
2 incredible pitching performances for the Saints here today. Summer Clark throws a CGSO. Kendall Lennon throwing a CGSO here in Game 2. Really tough one for the Dolphins here today, Joe. Some great chances here in game number 2 especially, but unfortunately the Saints getting that big RBI double from Danielle Fenelon as they take game 2 of this doubleheader and win game 1 as well. And now even their conference record at 3-3.
Well, Nick, I need you to tell statisticians to quiet down. We have work to do here. This broadcast is not over, but anyway, Nick, looking at this game, there were opportunities for the Dolphins throughout. I think there were far more opportunities in Game 2 than there were during Game 1. Duville did out-hit CSI 7-6, and we knew coming in what to expect from Summer Clark in the circle. She was phenomenal in Game 1, but Kendall Lennon arguably pitched even better here in Game 2, and she was even more efficient. The Dolphins clearly had a plan of attack to be aggressive against the Saints pitching staff, and it didn't necessarily work out for them in the run column for sure, but when they had opportunities with runners on base, they simply couldn't come up with that big hit. In Game 2, they may have just needed 1 or 2 of those big hits. Unfortunately, they didn't get one of them. The Saints did, as you said, Nick, by mere inches down the right field line, and sometimes even softball can be a game of inches. The Saints drop that double down the line. They win by a run and earn a sweep against the Dolphins.
And for this Dolphins softball team, the next time they are in action is next Friday out in Dobbs Ferry, a doubleheader against the Mavericks of Mercer University. For you and I, Joe, the next time we are back here at softball, it's next Saturday here at the Softball Diamond as they take on St. Thomas Aquinas College. Game 1 starting at 12 o'clock. Game 2 starting at approximately 2 o'clock. For baseball, as you and I both know, they will be on the road after today at going against Georgia Court during the week, and then on the road against Duville. And then you and I will be calling Heroes Day at Staten Island University Hospital Community Park. Yes, I still remember that by heart. Heroes Night, April 15th, next Wednesday. Joe, final thoughts before we wrap this one up.
Well, I think if you're the Dolphins, you can't let 2 losses today put a damper on the start you've gotten off to in conference play. CSI still with a good showing today. They got some good pitching, only allowed 5 runs across the 2 games. You'll take that on just about any other day, but unfortunately for CSI, Duville's pitching just a bit better on this afternoon as the Saints earned 2 hard-fought victories over the Dolphins, 4-0 and 1-0. Plenty more softball to come here on Sportsnet. A long trip awaits me as I make my way back up to Staten Island beginning on Tuesday all the way down from Florida. And then for you and I, Nick, you mentioned we have Heroes Night coming up. We have more softball coming up. I believe next weekend we have a doubleheader, don't we?
Yes, I already mentioned it.
There you go. Well, to be fair, Nick, all I heard was our statisticians talking. I didn't hear a word you said. So
Fair enough.
I'll have to be excused for that. But nonetheless, plenty more to come here on CSI Sportsnet over the next couple of weeks. But for you and I, Nick, it is, I believe, 6 days off before we get back on the air next Saturday. I'll see you then.
I'll see you then, Joe. Make safe travels as well back from Florida. That's going to do it for today's coverage between the Dolphins and the Saints. Once again, the final score of Game 1, Saints win at 4-0. Final in Game 2, Saints win at 1-0. The Dolphins dropped to 4-2 in conference play. As I mentioned before, next time Joe and I are back on the air next Saturday, back here at softball, where the Dolphins take on St. Thomas Aquinas College. From all of us here at CSI Sportsnet, thank you for tuning in to tonight's coverage between the Dolphins and the Saints. We'll see you next weekend where the Dolphins take on the Spartans. Have a great rest of your weekend, folks.